Good evening, good evening, good evening, football fam, Spurs, Arsenal in the chat. We are back. It's been an interesting week, couple of weeks because of the holidays, people's schedules, people getting sick, and tonight we were supposed to have TJ, but he'll be back next week. We got Stefan, got myself, got Stout coming on later on. And so it's going to be some very interesting topics. We have to kind of catch up. But before we jump into it, Stefan, how are you doing, brother? Happy New Year. Have I
Happy
seen
New
you? Yeah. Happy New
Year.
Year,
Thanks,
brother.
man. Happy New Year to you too. It's been it feels like ages, but it hasn't been that long. Thank you for having me on again. Looking forward to it, and yeah, it's just cool to just get together to talk about football. I just watched the Egypt Ghana game.
You
The
sound like
level of the quality in terms of what I remember the African Cup of Nations 10, 15 years ago compared to now is it's drastically dropped. Like Egypt.
Eto, man. Yeah, Eto, Drogba.
I mean, some of the old Senegal team with Diouf, with Salif Dia, with Fadiga, like they had so many. Like there was the great Cameroon team with Eto and with Rigobert Song. Just the quality in terms of even the old Ghana team from the 2010 World Cup is way better than this Ghana team.
Yeah, the one that
Egypt, who were the kings of Africa, who won like I think 2 or 3 tournaments in a row, beating the all-star Ivory Coast team with Didier Drogba, with Yaya Toure, with Kolo Toure. They had like an all-star team pretty much that played in, that most of their players played in the best teams. Like I just watched this Egypt team. They had, Egypt had some really good players back then. Even now, they, Mohamed Salah came off today, and Egypt looked better. I'm gonna be honest. Like the game opened up and Egypt started playing more. Maybe it was because they were down. I don't know, but yeah, I'm really not impressed, man. I watched Nigeria today against Ivory Coast, and that was another game where just the quality of the football is not of the same level that it was like 10, 15 years ago. Nowhere near.
But we can say this. Even I said this on 2 shows. One on Sava's show and one on one of the shows on our channel. And we'll get to talk to this. I'm sorry. There is so many chances now in football. but so many people not finishing their dinner. I grew up watching football. I'm old enough, 44, watching football where there were less shots on targets and people finishing their dinner, like Batistuta, Inzaghi. I mean, these guys. I grew up. Michael Owen. Like when they had their chance, there were few, but they scored. They executed. You know, whereas now there's so many chances, right? And everybody's missing. Like City's missing, Liverpool's missing, Arsenal's missing. No one can finish their dinner, and so I'm watching Liverpool versus Arsenal. It's no different than watching Spurs City. It's no different because I'm seeing a lot of
I mean,
missed
man,
shots. I'm
I
seeing
mean,
another. No, I'll be honest. I said this. I said there's a
I mean,
lot
you
of.
have, City has Haaland
And
and
he has
Liverpool have
he has a lot
Salah.
of shots. He has a lot of volume of shots.
Yeah,
He's
but
got the percentage. It's like
I,
he can score a
I
brace, but he has 10 shots out of two.
but you
Where
can, but wait, but you could, you just named Inzaghi, right? Inzaghi was just an in the box striker. The guy was never. You're comparing apples and like Salah for me is probably the best scoring winger in Premier League history. Probably like there's no better inside forward slash winger than Mohamed Salah if you read the stats in terms of finishing.
that's why
But
I give the
to
credit.
say that there's not lethal finishers when you have Haaland scoring
You got to give
more
a
than
big
a
up
goal a
to
game
you got to give a
is
big up to Sonny because the the stats will show you he's probably the most he is the most clinical forward in Europe for the chances that he like if he shoots more that percentage goes down I believe but for the shots that he has he's one
mhm.
like he's clinical. I mean, even
he's
BBC said he's
he's
clinical in Europe. But
But okay, let's see. Okay, let's be honest. Like right now, is there five world class pure? I mean, I'm talking about. I'm not saying
that's what I'm
Arsenal.
saying. That's my
Is there
argument.
is there five world class like number nines that you could like
Like,
deal?
no,
I can think of
not like when I was growing up.
maybe like Haaland, Kane, Lewandowski. And even Lewandowski is not of the same level that he was 2 or 3 years ago.
Two,
But
three
he
years.
is world class. Like you but when people start chiming in and saying Osimhen, no, he's not world class. He's had one 20 plus goal season, and
Yeah,
that was last year. So you cannot call him world class. Yes, I get he's talented, but I nowhere near world class for me. So for me, it's and even back then, if you remember, I mean, yeah, you could argue maybe back then you had Henri, Van Nistelrooy, the old Ronaldo. You had
Totti.
Batistuta. You had Batistuta. Yeah, he was great. You had
You had
I'm
you had
trying to think.
you had Larson. You
I
had
wouldn't call Inzaghi.
Larson. Larson was a assassin. You had. I mean, I
No,
can.
come on. Henrik Larsson was a good player, but he wasn't world class, Mari. He wasn't.
But tell you this: if he played today, with these chances that these players have having, don't you think his
Mhm.
stats would be better? Larson. If he
It's
played
I don't know.
today,
Like I'll give you an example, right? Because I'm Bulgarian, so there was like a rerun when Bulgaria got to the semifinal in the 1994 World Cup.
yeah.
And Stoichkov was then the best player in the world, and he was the Barcelona captain. And I just wanted to see like the level of football because there you had Bulgaria playing against Italy in the semifinal, against Germany in the quarters when we knocked them out, and you had Klinsmann, you had Roberto Baggio, you had Stoichkov,
Roberto
and yeah, okay, and but you
Mario.
watched. I watched. I watched the full. So I watched both because with my dad, because he had. I don't remember. I was too young, but I watched both games, like pretty much the full games, just the way they play the tempo. Mari, the tempo of the game now, the physicality of the game is 100 times better. Like Stoichkov was an amazing player and he won the golden ball and stuff, but the level of physicality, like I watched Walter Mateos also played, who's also considered one of the greatest ever German midfielders, and just the level of physicality nowadays, they would absolutely shit on. Because I watched Germany against Bulgaria, Italy. Roberto Baggio was the best player in the world,
There was some beast back
arguably
then
after.
when
I
you
think he
allowed to
won.
play
I,
football. Stephen. I don't know. I think the game is softer now.
I
in
mean,
my
it might be softer, but the tempo and the level of running and sprinting and just the physicality involved with the game is far more marked. Is
well, let me let
far
me
more.
let me get big up a couple of people who are in the chat, and then we will jump right into it. No, it's good talk. I just think back then the football quality is, I don't know, better. But um, big up new member Immortal Worm. Big up, man. Thank you
But
for membership. Disabled team. Big up, big up. Adrian is in the house. Big up. Big up. Man, I wish I could pronounce this. He says Brendan is not a mistake. Oh boy, we're gonna have a big disagreement on that one. Uh, Big Tone. Sorry I didn't respond to you on Twitter. Big Tone's like, yo, I was excited for you in Stefan last week, and I'm so sorry, but I got called to another show. They really needed a really need some people, but we're back. We're back. We're here. We're here.
yeah,
Um,
and I just want to add, Mario, you're right about the strikers, but if you look at the type of strikers, 20 years ago, the old school number nine, the kind of fox in the box, was extremely popular. Like I forgot who pointed it out, Ruud van Nistelrooy, amazing, amazing
yeah.
finisher, amazing in the box type of striker. You said Inzaghi, Batistuta was also more of an in the box striker, but Batistuta had an amazing shot from range, so he
Oh
would
yeah.
score always. Yeah, he had an amazing shot. So, but Batistuta was good in the air. Like he
I
was
grew
much
up
more.
with, I don't know if you remember Zamorano
Oh
and
no, Vieri. No, don't get
Salas.
the old that.
Zamorano. 1-2 punch like those
No,
guys.
for me, the greatest ever team, apart from the Invincibles that didn't win the Champions League. For me, the other kind of biggest letdown was the Inter team from 2003 to 2006 that didn't win an Italian league. They had, in my opinion, the most like he was one of my favorite players. Sadly, because his dad passed away and his career went. But Adriano and Vieri, when
Zamorano.
they
Oh
played
yeah.
together,
Oh,
they were one of my
Brady
favorite.
brothers. Yeah.
Inter have always been my favorite Italian team ever since then. And they had, I mean, their team was. They had Alvaro Recoba as the number 10.
Yeah.
They had Dejan Stankovic in midfield. They had Cordoba in defense. They had an
And
absolutely
that team.
ridiculous team. I don't know how they didn't win a league title. I don't even think they won an Italian cup. They didn't win anything.
Well,
And that to
Serie
me
A
is
was the beast, man. I mean, last year Roma was there, but you also had Milan, of course, and Juve. But let me start. Big up the rest of the people. Big up Jono 71. Uh, big up CQ
already people are shitting on Brennan Johnson.
now. But
No,
then
I agree with C cubed. The defense, the quality of defenders back then is in my opinion much better in terms of defending. If you look at some of the defenders nowadays, I think nowadays the best defenders are
mhm.
more so reliant on physicality rather than and athleticism rather than reading the game. Like if you watch some of the old school defenders, like for me the greatest defender that I have ever watched is Nesta. I've never seen a more elegant.
Yeah,
You would never see him, even though I like the physical type of defenders like a Cannavaro, for example, or someone. Nesta, you'd never see him kick out or try and like rough up a player. He'd always be in the right position. Maldini was those, but Maldini, I got to watch him when he switched to fullback, so still great. But the best defender I've ever watched was Nesta. I've never seen a player make defending look so easy and just so effortless. So yeah,
man.
I agree with CQ
Yeah,
about that.
Nesta is definitely a legend. A legend. I actually saw a video of why Italy's national team didn't win more. You know, they won the World Cup,
I mean,
and
they
no,
won
they
the
won
World Cup.
World War Six. But their better team was the Euro team that did not even qualify to the next round, and it was just talking about because they were loaded with talent. Oh man, we're still
No, but from
yeah.
that period, from '96, I would say to like 2007, 8, the Serie A was the league. Like
Yeah,
it was the most like coveted league in the world. I would
yeah.
say the Italian teams are always in the Champions League final. So for me, it was the level was just amazing back then. But then, of course, the whole Juventus saga in 2006, I would say, ruined the whole league.
Yeah,
That
there was
that
a scandal. Yep, I'm
that
with you
that
on that.
that started the whole downfall of the league.
People
That
start
that,
not
that whole
going
saga,
to
that whole saga, and then you can argue from a spending perspective, some of the great kind of
economics,
not even mid-level teams, the competitive teams, the
the
Parmas,
economics, and
who overspent massively, went bankrupt.
the
So kind of
direction,
yeah,
the direction, and leadership. Um, you know, in America we call them league commissioners. Um,
yeah.
Football, right? I think Serie A did a bad job not following the signs of the times, and so until it was too late. But let's talk about our beloved clubs.
Mhm.
Uh, and so I was gonna flip a coin to see where we start, but I guess where we want to start, where people want to see, and where people want to get their explanation from. And I know Stella wants to jump in, but I'm gonna start it anyway because he's not here
Yeah.
yet. We'll start with the current state of Arsenal.
Hmm.
I'm gonna say one thing because I hope he's watching, and that's G Chain. When I said you need to pounce on the evil empire, right? People know the evil empire in baseball and football. Well, in
Yankees.
football, yeah, the New York
Okay.
Yankees. The evil empire, right, is Man City, and right, and when you need to pounce on them, you need to pounce on them while they're down.
Okay.
I just watched De Bruyne over the weekend. And I'm just like,
I, he's
these guys
probably. I
win.
mean, sometimes you just like sometimes you just like. I remember when Arsenal had Henri. They just have that player, and you cannot find the play. He's just one of the best. He's probably, in my opinion, in terms of midfielders that I have watched, I think he is the greatest.
Premier League.
Maybe not the most complete midfielder. I would put,
He
I'm
doesn't
biased here.
tackle. He
I would
doesn't.
put the greatest. If you tell me who is the most complete midfielder that's played in the Premier League, I would say Patrick Vieira because he could do everything. He
But
could
it
pass.
is.
Complete. I'm talking about all around. He could pass. He could tackle. He could do absolutely. He was a leader. He was
Yeah.
everything. Kevin De Bruyne for me is the greatest ever attacking midfielder in the Premier. I think he's better than Lampard because Lampard scored a ton of goals, but Lampard didn't assist as much as De
Yeah.
Bruyne. Gerrard, I think the only argument where you could maybe make a call is maybe because Steven Gerrard could do everything also. Like
Yeah.
Steven Gerrard also, he could tackle.
But
I
it
just
wasn't
think
enough. It
I
wasn't
just
enough. It wasn't enough to win the league. I mean, you won the Champions League, but it
no,
wasn't enough.
and no, but and that's why I would say he's better because the difference between those two is that De Bruyne won things, and Steven Gerrard had a number of opportunities where he could have won. I think 2 or 3 times they could have won the league with Liverpool. I remember that tandem that he had
The big slip.
with no, that was later. That was when he was older, but he had that amazing partnership for 2 seasons with Fernando Torres.
Torres.
He
Yeah.
could, he could have won the league. They could have won the league then. So yeah, but for me, I just think De Bruyne is just, he's just on another level, and he proved it. He came on against Newcastle after being 5 months injured and literally won the game. He scored a ridiculous finish, which none of the other midfielders from Man City are going to
That
score.
assist to Bobo.
And then the assist was everybody was raving about Bob's finish, which was good, but the pass made the goal.
Bobo.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, it's just it's unfair, but I it is what it is. They just have
So
the brain.
I mentioned City because that's for correct me if I'm wrong. The objective is to trump Man City.
Yeah,
And so what happened within the last 6 games was really the Fulham game, right? Because all the other games, all right, you didn't finish your dinner, but the Fulham game was just like telling, like, whoa, what is going on with Arsenal? Because the FA Cup, right? The FA Cup is the FA Cup, right? It was
you mean the FA Cup is the FA Cup? The FA Cup is.
it was Levy. It was Liverpool's B squad.
What do you mean
Get it?
Liverpool? What is this? What is this fake narrative that Spurs fans want to make themselves feel better? How is it Liverpool's B squad? Like they
Salah
played every single player.
they weren't there. They weren't there. All right,
Van
let me
Dyke.
focus on
The
Fulham.
only reason.
All
Wait,
right,
wait, wait.
let me focus on Fulham. All right, and actually, I'm gonna pass you the mic. I'm
No,
gonna pass.
no, no. That annoyed me. Wait. Van Dyke was sick. So okay, Liverpool did Arsenal not play with their B squad? Arsenal had a lot of players missing
All that
also.
players in.
We
They're the
played with we played with Kivior at left back because because Tomiyasu was in the Asian Cup and Zinchenko was injured. So it's like this whole narrative now that I see, like for example, after the Spurs Man United game where you drew, but again, just like the Arsenal game, the celebrations were as if you won, but okay, against the horrific Man United team. Okay. The narrative was look at how many injuries Spurs have. Man United didn't have Luke Shaw. They didn't have Martinez in terms of what he had just came back from injury, so he didn't start. They didn't have half of their defense was injured. They didn't have Casemiro, who hasn't played for 2 months, who's, let's be honest, who's better than Kobe Mainu, who's a very talented player, but he's 18. So this narrative is only towards one side, which is Liverpool and Spurs have injuries, even though Man United had the same amount of injuries as you did. And Arsenal had more injuries than Liverpool and more missing players when we played against them. So I just I don't understand why some teams it's focused upon and used as an excuse, but for others it's
Because
not.
there's a big differences, and you could even attest to this. When all those injuries happen to United in
Yeah.
comparison to Spurs, right? Everybody says Spurs have that front 11 and we don't have depth. Whereas United, at least they can put in, I mean,
Who?
even if you don't even rate Harry Maguire, at
He
least you
played. He
at
played.
least
First of all, Harry Maguire was injured. Harry
yeah,
Maguire was injured.
right.
They played with
United,
Johnny Evans. They played with
United,
Johnny Evans.
I know, but United has a deeper team than Spurs in comparison to
Do
Spurs.
they? Do they?
We're,
I
we're
I
playing
disagree.
fullbacks. We're playing fullbacks as center backs.
They played. They played probably one of one
You
of.
don't get more desperate than that, man. Ever
Wait.
since Chicken
Yes, you
Royale
do. Yes, you
and,
do.
and Ben Davies, I mean, like,
Okay. Who would you rather have? A 37-year-old Johnny Evans as center back or Emerson Royale?
I would
Shut
rather
up, Mari. Shut up, Mari.
I would
Shut up, Mari.
who made a great Timo Werner was going to score, and Evans actually made a good play. Not that I rate
Oh my! Are you
Evans.
fucking Mari? Are you serious? Like Johnny,
He's a
the
center
fact
back.
that Johnny Evans.
Taking a right back and a left back, and you put him in the Johnny Evans is a center back, at least.
Okay. Just
Right?
to show you how
Bernardo Silva
depleted.
is a center back. It doesn't matter if he's 40 years old.
Okay. You made it just to show you how depleted they were. They played one of, in my opinion, the worst footballer in terms of footballing ability at left back. He's a great defender. He's a great one-on-one player and great at sliding and making tackles. But in terms of playing football, he played a guy who cannot play well on the ball at right back. He played him at left back because he was forced to, and there was nobody else to play. So this notion that Man United weren't affected by injuries is a fucking joke. Just like you had injuries and missing players in the front line, Man United, as a lot of people know, Luke Shaw and Martinez are key to the way they play going forward, especially Luke Shaw in terms of
Yeah,
progressing the
but
ball and creating
all right,
chances.
Bruno Fernandez. Yeah, like I know
Bruno
people.
Fernandez was awful in that. He was the worst. I was
I
for the
understand.
first time. For the first time, Mari, I really rate Bruno. And I used to get really annoyed at Man United fans who always, whenever they'd lose, they'd pile on Bruno by saying he'd lose the ball a lot. And I'm like, what are you guys watching? Like, he's the only one that creates chances and makes great, passes and stuff like that. But I realized a little bit the amount of Hollywood passes that he kept trying against you guys, the amount of times he kept rushing it and trying to spray ridiculous, cross-field balls to like start attacks, losing the ball continuously. I kind of understand a little bit now why my fans get annoyed at Bruno, because that game he was, I would say, the worst player for Man United on the pitch, easily.
Yeah. Okay. Like this, because I know everybody's putting West Ham has injuries, Newcastle has injuries, and I get that. But there's some injuries that are night and day, a big blow. Like they still have Bruno Fernandez. For us, you've seen the difference with Madison when Madison's not there. Yet, to the credit, we're still getting results. But can you imagine if Madison was there.
Yes, I
Uh,
can. You would have still drawn because you played with your full defense and you were giving up chances. You were so open that I honestly think maybe you would have scored another goal, maybe, but I still think they would have scored 2 goals at least. The amount of times that Man United go into good positions, Rashford I thought was good in the first half, horrendous in the second half. The amount of space that you guys give up, in my opinion, you always concede chances. So even if you had played Madison, maybe the game would have finished 3-2 to Spurs, maybe. But that whole argument, when Arsenal fans say, well, what if Arsenal had Thomas Partey and Timber playing? You guys say, oh, that's excuses. But the same thing doesn't apply to you guys. All you fucking do is make hypothetical FC. If Gareth Bale had played for Spurs, if Modric had played for Spurs, we'd win the league or we'd be first. You don't have them. They were injured. Just like every other team that has had injuries. You didn't have them. You still created enough chances, I would say. I thought a draw was a fair result because apart from the goals that you scored, I honestly I thought your main threat was from set pieces. I thought Man United were so bad at like every set piece that you had was a chance. And to be honest, I don't remember Onana or Vicario making a big save in that game. Apart from the goals, I don't remember them making any sort of big saves. So for me, a draw was a fair result. But I mean, okay, it's
no, no, I see your point, but definitely if we had our players, because
you would not have beaten Man United, man.
that probably would have been, and that's
It's
why.
Old Trafford. Your record is shit there. Like last season, you had all these players, and Harry Kane, and you still lost. Like, stop with this narrative that you would have beaten. This is Old Trafford. This isn't
I
some.
live, I live in the now. I live this. I'm not living from last year, and I'm saying from this past game, right? People who watch the game, even Man United people, will say, you know what, really Spurs should be kicking ourselves, and we should. The amount of shots that we had, shots on target and stuff, and we
But
had people who
okay,
couldn't
okay.
finish
Yeah,
the deal.
you had shots, but tell me, apart from the goals, tell me one big chance you had in the second half. One chance, like big, where Onana made a big time save, or you missed a big goal. You can't because those shots, half of them were Timo Werner making fucking field goals instead of shooting at the goal. Great signing, by the way. Great low cost, low risk signing. He's just as horrific. He looks just as bad as he was before. But okay, so you had shots. That doesn't mean those shots. Go watch the quality. The quality of the game was not very good. Man United in midfield were so bad. They were so open. Rashford was not tracking back whatsoever, helping out Wan-Bissaka. And yeah, okay, if you had a bit more quality, just like Man United, because I remember at 2-1 in the first half, at the end of the first half, Hoyland passed to Rashford and he was completely open in the box. If you were going to go hypotheticals, and Rashford takes a terrible first touch, and because that doesn't even shoot on goal. Do you remember that? That could have been 3-1. Old Rashford would have probably scored that. So you can have these hypotheticals, but I thought both teams didn't do enough to win the game. I really did. Like
Yeah,
it
you must.
wasn't like it
Like,
wasn't a high quality game. It really wasn't.
yeah, yeah. The second half, we
You were better in the second half. They were better than you in
no,
the
first
first
half
half, I
was
would
was
say.
more was more even. It was more even. The second half, it was clearly, we're kicking ourselves like we should have had. But like I said, don't want to go into there. Actually, no. C Cube does want to argue that point. I'll let her do that. Though we were supposed to talk about the current state of Arsenal, so I don't even know how we got we how
Yeah,
we got there.
it's
But
it's, it's my
yeah,
fault.
I was going to talk about the Fulham game. We'll get to that, but let me get C Cube to come in and big up my sister.
What's up?
Hey,
What's up?
yeah,
Uh,
I mean, I can't stay, but Stefan, you were saying the same stuff yesterday on Connor's stream. You're talking the
Yeah,
same shit, like trying to
I'm
compare
consistent.
Arsenal's missing players with Tottenham's missing players when you know that that is just straight up bullshit. Because if we had Son and Mads, it'd be a whole different ball game.
No.
Yes, it would be, because you're saying you guys have injuries. Your
No,
injuries
I
are not
just I
equivalent to our
didn't.
injuries. No, your injuries are not equivalent to our injuries, because it would be like you guys were missing Saka and Declan Rice, and you
No.
guys have not had
First
missing
of all,
Saka and Declan.
I never used injuries as an excuse. I just said that it's hilarious to see how Spurs fans, all they talk about is hypotheticals and how if we had this player back. Yet when Arsenal play against Liverpool or any other team, people ignore the fact that we're missing one of the best midfielders in the Premier League for most of the year, and our best midfielder in terms of in our squad when he plays. People forget about
no. You had Odegaard, and you had Declan Rice. Are those your best midfielders? Declan Rice.
No, we're missing our best midfielder in Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey is our best midfield player.
I would say I would disagree with that, because most of your fans would say that Declan Rice has been your best player this season. So if you were missing Declan Rice and you were, missing Saka, that would be equivalent to us missing Son and Mads. But you were having those players, and you've had those players all season long. You have those seasons. All season long, you've had those players.
No, we haven't. Jesus missed 2/3 of the season. Martinelli missed a month of the season. What are you talking about, man? At least get your shit right.
I didn't say Jesus. I did not say Jesus. I said Saka. Son and Saka are more equivalent than Son and Jesus. If you're trying to compare those, that's bullshit. That's straight up bullshit. Okay, we're talking about the two best players on your team. Have you had the two best players on your team? Three best.
No,
if you want to talk about
our two best players. Our two most important
Declan
players.
Rice. You've had Declan Rice. You've had Saka.
No,
stop
saying Declan
for
Rice.
most of the season.
No.
We have been missing Son. We've had missing Son. We've had Miss Madison.
How are you missing Son? He's played every single game
and Romero for a lot of
talking about.
Sorry, Cubed, can I just interject here? Are you saying to me it's big? You've been missing Partey all season. That's what you're saying.
I didn't say that. I didn't. People. I just said I get annoyed at the fact that all people talk about is they give excuses for Spurs and for Liverpool, but for Man United and for Arsenal are missing the two key players on Arsenal's team. No matter how much C Cubed wants to talk, from last season, if you ask any Arsenal fan, our two most important players are Saliba and Partey, and Stell knows this because Stell really rates.
Saliba wasn't missing. Saliba
hold on. Cube.
No. I'm not talking about Saliba. I'm talking about we're missing one of our key players.
All right, I've got a question. No, fair play. I've got a question then. Why weren't you complaining about that when you were top of the league a few weeks ago?
I've never complained about injuries. I still don't complain about injuries. I'm just saying.
You're doing now then.
I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm saying there's a bias in the media in terms of Spurs and Liverpool compared to the coverage after the Man United game, which you drew. You didn't win again. Just like at the Emirates, you were celebrating a draw.
We were missing 6 starting players, Stefan.
And so were Man United. Man United were missing half of their defense.
Man United had experienced key players on the bench. We had none.
Experienced key players on the bench. Martinez hasn't played for 4 months. What the fuck are you
talking
about?
They had Anthony, they had McTominay, they had Casemiro.
They had Johnny Evans in defense and fucking Wan-Bissaka at left back.
We had Oliver Skip and Højbjerg in midfield. We had Timo Werner out wide. We had
and they had Kobe Mainoo. They had an 18-year-old in midfield.
Come on, you even said, okay, you were even trying to say, oh well, Liverpool, oh so what, they were missing Van Dijk. No, Liverpool were missing Salah and Van Dijk. That is equivalent of you missing Saka and Saliba, but you weren't missing Saka and Saliba. You were playing with them. You were playing with them when you were playing against Liverpool, and you couldn't beat them in the cup, could you? No, you could not.
Liverpool played half the game.
Yeah, we lost the game, but if you watch the game, we totally it was just a bad day. We should have won that game easily, but okay.
It's 7 bad days.
You use the same excuse against West Ham.
7.
So back to my original question: what is your current state of Arsenal, especially like I said, some of the other games you can see where Arsenal didn't finish their dinner.
Yeah,
but the Fulham game was telling. Where Fulham,
it was just about even it was our worst performance of the season, and yet we still had better stats than Fulham, more shots. So it was the only performance out of all those games where I would say Arsenal didn't play well. Like if you watch the West Ham game, we should have won that game 3-4-0. Like it was, the same with the Liverpool FA Cup game. The Anfield game, I was happy with a draw. I actually thought we played quite well, especially defensively. We completely nullified Liverpool for pretty much most of that game. So it's fine. Going to Anfield is always one of the most difficult away trips. So yeah, it happens. We're going through our rut now. Man City went through theirs in October, November. And I'm happy that we're going through ours now, because it's better now to go through it than to, like last season, to
When
go through
Spurs
it.
went through a rut, you called it a capitulation.
It was a capitulation.
So you're
then you've capitulated. Because your rut's longer than ours, bigger than ours.
What rut, man? You lost 3 games out of 4. What are you talking about? Arsenal lost 2 games.
You won 1 in 7.
Yes, but Arsenal have lost 2 games. You lost 3 and 4. How is that the same thing?
Okay, so because we lost one more game, we're capitulating. You're in a rut because of one game.
I was, of course,
Well,
I
that's
was
exactly what you're
exaggerating.
You lost to Liverpool. You lost to Fulham. You lost to West Ham.
We lost
That's
to Liverpool
3
in the
losses.
cup. We lost to Liverpool in the cup. So
We're still in the cup.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your point? That's the games, the fixtures you lost.
You guys, I just want to say you're
3
definitely
in a row
winning the
you've
FA Cup.
lost.
You're definitely beating Man City next.
You're definitely winning the league.
Good luck.
You're definitely winning the
Good
league.
luck.
You're going to beat
Bro,
Liverpool. You're going
you
to beat
lost
Man
to
City.
Villa. You drew PSV.
We're gonna beat them.
You
What?
beat Brighton. You drew Liverpool. You lost to West Ham. You lost to Fulham. You lost to Liverpool.
Yes. Okay.
So in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games, you've won 1.
Okay.
And the majority of those are losses. More losses than draws.
Stefan.
So what are you talking about? Your capitulation is not as big as ours. It's bigger, my man.
Okay. Yes. No. Everything Spurs is always better. Will. That's why you're 5th. That's why you're. That's
we're
why
not
you're
4
so
years
good.
into a process.
No,
We're 5th to the
fine.
weekend.
We're not 4 years into a rebuild.
We're 5th to the weekend.
No. You're not. You're not 4 years into a Of course. Now this is the excuse.
It's fact. It's
No.
fact, yeah.
Okay, it's facts. Okay. Let's see. Let's see how the season pans out, Stel. But
I'm
next
watching it.
year,
We're on equal points
I don't
with
want to
you,
hear this.
with
Next
the
year, I don't want to
snake
hear
oilsman,
vibes.
with the snake oil salesman, Ange, as you call him, with our degenerate team, with no Harry Kane. We're on the same points as you, and you've spent 700 million on a 4-year process. That's what I'm seeing
Same
right now.
points, but we're still ahead of you. As Will would like to say, we're still ahead of you in the league table, right?
So your process after 4 years allows you to be ahead of us on goal difference. Is that why you did it? This process,
Really,
is that what it was about?
It's fucking January, man.
So the question:
Did you
When do you want
putting up the league table as your background in fucking October? Did you not learn from that?
You're the one who said Spurs will capitulate over the
They
Christmas
will.
period.
They will, and they did. They went from 1st to 5th. You're still 5th.
We didn't capitulate.
You went from 1st to 4th.
Define capitulation.
Okay.
And out of the cup.
Define
I told you
capitulation.
this was going to happen.
The cup, out of the cup that we have
I
won.
told you this wasn't
Stefan, define capitulation.
Happen. I said you were going to unravel.
Tell me
what
we're going to unravel.
Hold on,
Stel, you're going to go out of the FA Cup.
Hold on. Stefan,
you're out of the
without a
Stell,
fucking
hold
trophy,
on for a
man.
second.
Don't talk to
Stefan,
me about unraveling,
You're
man.
out of the
Tell
FA
us
Cup.
what. Tell us
Okay,
what.
you're not going to win it. You're going to go out of the Man City game, and you're going to go 16
You guys
years
are just
out
going
of
to go back and forth if you don't get him divine terms. Stefan,
Stel, we
tell
won
us what
14 FA
capitulation
Cups.
means to
Stel,
you.
we won 14 FA Cups. There's
Not
no more
under
successful team,
Not
man.
under
What do you?
in this process.
Stefan, tell us what capitulation means to you.
Okay, well, stop with these smart-ass comments now, focusing on capitulation.
You said Spurs
exaggerated about Spurs.
You capitulated.
I exaggerated about Spurs. Stop focusing on this.
Oh, you didn't mean it. Sorry.
Yeah, I exaggerate. Yes.
You guys are losing these games. You're in this group of form with your best players fit.
Here's the question.
Our best players fit?
Yeah.
Well, stop talking shit, man. Partey, Timber hasn't been playing.
Okay.
Timber's not even
Somebody's
player.
exaggerating
Hasn't played
about
for
their
the whole
missing
season.
players too.
What?
Madison,
Your
Bissouma,
whole team, bar
First
party.
of all,
Hold
don't
on.
put Bissouma in.
Hold
Don't
on.
put Bissouma in. It's not my fault he's an idiot and keeps getting
Thomas
red cards.
Partey has not
Don't
played
put
for you more
Bissouma.
than 4
Please.
games this whole season, 4 or 5 games this whole season, right? And most of that's been at right back. Your whole team right now is fit, bar Thomas Partey. Timber's not a good player. You don't know he's a good player.
Timber's not a good player.
No, he's not one of your best players.
Okay, yeah.
He's a
Okay,
young
he doesn't even
prospect that
count
because
you
he's
never
never
even
even
played a
shit,
game for
man.
you.
kicked the ball in the Premier League except for 20 minutes.
He hasn't even
He
played
played
games
the
for
full,
you, and you want to
wait,
count
wait,
him?
wait. He played the full 90 minutes in the Community Shield against Man City and won
Oh,
Man
okay,
of
the
the match.
Community
So
Shield.
he doesn't look bad.
Preseason game.
It's still
He has not played
it's
an
still
in-season
serious.
game for you, and you want
It's not
to
serious.
you
Pep
want to
Guardiola
count
even said he
him?
doesn't even take it seriously.
I guarantee you he would have started more games than Zinchenko or Ben White. He would have started almost every single game for Arsenal.
I doubt
He would
that.
have started.
I doubt that.
He was key, and you could see everything in terms of how he was going to play, because he played really well at left back in the
Okay,
Community
so you're
Shield.
telling me what you're saying right now is the reason why you guys have won one in the last 7 is because
No,
Timber's
I
injured
didn't
and
say
because
that.
Partey's injured. Okay,
I
so then
didn't
why are
say
you
that.
using them out?
You're creating.
You're going through this form
No,
right now.
no, well,
with
stop
your
putting words
best
in my
team
mouth.
fit.
Stop putting words in my mouth. I said the only thing I'm annoyed about is how the media likes to pile on and give blowjobs to a guy that's finished 5th, lost in the first chance in the League
Finished
Cup.
5th. Who's finished
You know,
5th?
in terms of he's currently 5th, lost in the first chance in the League Cup, bailed on the League Cup. So and he's gonna lose in the FA Cup. So he's gonna win fuck all. So
without the FA Cup.
no, okay. Let's see. Let's see what happens.
You guys
I'm
bailed
just
on the League
January.
Cup too.
Stefan, I have a
What are you
question.
talking about?
Right,
Stefan,
right,
you're not in
right,
any
right,
cup
right,
competitions
let's
right
fair
now except
point.
for the Champions League
right,
group
right,
stage.
right now, as it stands right now, today, you are out of both domestic cups, Spurs
Okay.
aren't, and we're on equal points with you. You've spent £700 million building your team. We've
First
spent
of all,
about
it's not
Your whole
700
team's been
million.
fit.
First,
We've
let me
been
just
missing 5 of
interject.
our starting
I
11.
checked that. I checked
You've
that
spent
bullshit.
3 times
That
more.
bullshit that you keep saying.
And
It's
every
590
single
million. So go
every
do the
single
math
player,
better.
every single player at Arsenal, every single player is now Arteta's. He's got rid of all the deadwood. Every player that's either been given a new contract, stayed at Arsenal, or been bought is on Arteta.
Okay.
Ange has only started to clear out. This is now Arteta's team. So for you to be on equal points with us, I'm sorry, you cannot defend that.
Simple question. Simple question. Stefan, simple question. The current state of Arsenal. Why is Arsenal 4th? Why are they?
We're just going
Easy
through.
answer. They suck. That's it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. We're just going through a run of bad form. Simple. Just like Man City did in October and in November.
Is Arteta to
It's
blame?
not like Man City.
No. You cannot blame Arteta for the West Ham game or for the Liverpool, the FA Cup game, because I mean, you cannot have so many chances. Arteta cannot finish for the players. He can only put them in a system that creates a structure to generate chances to score, and they couldn't finish their dinner. It's simple. We're going through a rut. We needed this break now. Let's see how we respond. I think we're gonna respond, and yeah, I'm optimistic for the season. We're only 5 points behind Liverpool. We're playing them again in 3 weeks. If they're not bullying,
well, you just said it. You just said it yesterday. You're winning.
I'll bully
you
him. I
still,
don't care
you
because
still
he's
believe
wrong.
you're winning the league, right? Stefan?
We'll can't bully anybody. So don't worry about that. But
you said yesterday you're still
trying to
winning
get
the
more
league.
Arsenal people on.
All
but
the
they
Arsenal
keep
fans that are
losing.
allowed to come on, TJ and Connor are always invited to this show. They're not here right now.
It's
fine. Like it's fine.
Their own fan base doesn't want to talk about their team. That's
take
how
the
it
heat.
is.
But what I'm saying is that we will respond. I'm convinced of that. I look at the way the team has played. Every single game we have played better than the other team, except we haven't won. We played better than Liverpool in the FA Cup. Should have won. Should have been 3-4-0 up in the first half. We should have beaten West Ham 3-4-0. Even Fulham we should have won based on the actual stats. So, and that was our worst game. So for me, it's in terms of, if you guys read in the Athletic, their main stats guy did a piece on Arsenal and what they needed, and he just said it's just a statistical anomaly in which, if you look at Liverpool, the last I think 6 games, Liverpool have an XG of around 11.5, I think it was, and they have scored 17 goals. So they have overscored or overachieved in terms of the chance that they're created. Arsenal had an XG of, I think it was 10, and we have scored only 3 goals. So this type of statistical anomaly, they said it's not about signing a striker, it's just It happens. It will balance itself
But
out.
no, hold on. This is why I know that the guy who did the statistics doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground. Because
yeah, of course, yeah. Well,
when you look at the conversion rate, when you look at the conversion rate of your strikers, this is normal. This is not an anomaly.
You do realize this guy that works for the Athletic worked for RB Leipzig's stats.
It doesn't matter where he worked for.
No, it doesn't for you. No, it doesn't. No,
yeah, it doesn't.
He's an idiot.
Someone who says dumb things is dumb, regardless of where they work for.
Okay, yeah, he doesn't understand this stuff because he doesn't agree with your bullshit viewpoint.
Yeah, there's a lot of dumb senators.
But if he agrees, he's the smartest person in the world. Okay, yeah. Okay, well,
and I would debate the guy, and I would burn him to the ground.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, I would. Because
when you
look at the statistical trend of your forwards and the amount of chances that they miss this season, on average, it's not an anomaly. It's the norm.
It's not the norm. It's not.
When you plot, when I say norm, I'm talking about statistical norm. When you plot chances taken and succeeded across a graph, and you look at the number of missed, it's the norm.
No, it's not, because last season
it is the norm for these players.
Because last season those three strikers that you talk about scored 86 goals from an XG of around 87. So they pretty much
underperformed their XG.
They pretty much were there, like in terms of they pretty much matched their XG in terms of the created chances. This season they're underperforming massively compared to their norm, compared to last year. So it's not a normal thing.
No, that's not true.
Okay, of course it's not true. Yeah. But okay, so my point is that these games, this will balance itself out. Spurs beating Bournemouth when Bournemouth had 20 shots on target, and Solanke missing from literally in the box, and Everton having a shot literally come off the knee of Vicario, saving your ass from scoring. This will also even itself out, where the chances that you give away to teams, they will come to bite you in the end. The same way.
I gotta stop you. Your XG this season is 36.4, and you've scored 36 goals. You're actually performing better XG to goal ratio than you did last season.
Stats.
Right here, FBref, squad total this season, 36.4.
Games. Well, talking about the last 6 games. I'm not talking about the Athletic did a piece on Arsenal's poor run and what's going on.
And the Athletic guy who wrote that piece doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yes. Yeah. And you do.
Yeah. 36.4 is your XG this season. You scored 36 goals.
You're so up yourself that it's hilarious. A guy that's worked for one of the best scouting teams.
36 goals.
Well, I don't give a shit what you say. I don't rate your view. I rate this guy's view.
I don't rate the other guy's view who said that you guys are somehow in a statistical anomaly.
Yeah, he said
it's called confirmation bias. He said something you like, so you believe him.
No, I don't. Yeah. He used the figures in terms of he compared it. The article all says it. And I trust him more than I trust you because he worked for RB Leipzig, which is one of the best scouting teams in the world in terms of finding young players, especially because they work with the stats.
That means because he worked for them, he did that. All you do
is go on YouTube and talk stats. So I'm sorry, I trust him over you.
Did he do those things? Wait, did he do those things?
Well, he worked for their scouting team, so he must have
analyzed he did those
players.
Things?
Huh?
Does that mean he did those things?
The fuck are you on about?
Could it be the case that somebody else at that club was better at that than him?
Why are you trying to go?
Maybe that's why he no longer works there.
Straw man argument. Why are you trying to be a smart ass? You're not that smart, man.
It's not a straw man. You don't even know what a straw man is, first of all. A straw man is making up an argument that is easy to defeat, that is irrelevant to the point we're talking about. It's not what I'm doing, okay? What I'm saying is that your XG over how many games you said?
I don't remember exactly. I don't remember the exact numbers, but in the article, he just basically said that we're massively underperforming, and that is going to go much closer to the norm because it is not currently the typical XG and then in terms of the scoring goals that we usually do. That's all he said. It was very simple. That was his point.
But I'm sorry, his point's wrong because in the last 6 games,
of course it is. Arsenal or shit.
Look, I can tell you. Look, listen, close your mouth for a second. You brought up a point. You used this guy. You said this guy was his opinion is whatever was valid, right? You scored your XG against Luton was 2.2. You scored 4. Okay. Your XG against Villa. Okay, so now that's +2 or plus 1.8.
Last 6 games.
Well, in the
last
league.
6 games.
No, in all
are you just trying to argue to look smart, or
all competitions? I thought you were talking about the league.
the games that we don't win, the run of 1-7, why we did not win in those 6 games that we did not win.
Not a problem. I can pull those up too, right? Against Fulham, you scored 1. Your XG was 1.6. That's under 0.6 under, right? West Ham, it was the only game that you had a higher XG than you scored goals, right?
Are you kidding me?
Liverpool,
we had an XG against Fulham of like almost 3, I think.
Yeah, 2.7. That's what I just said, right?
Okay, and we scored 0 goals.
Listen to what I'm saying. Against Liverpool,
I don't
you had
want
an
to listen
XG.
to what you're saying.
Listen to what I'm saying. You had an XG
have.
of 0.7 against Liverpool. You scored 1. Right, so you exceeded your XG against Liverpool. In Brighton, you had an XG of 2 and you scored 2. So you matched your XG. Against PSV Eindhoven, you had an
XG of 2. Yeah. Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Wait.
Okay. PSV Eindhoven, you had an XG of 1. You scored 1. Aston Villa, you had an XG of 1.4. You scored none.
Why are you putting PSV Eindhoven in this? We're talking
about
the
last games. The last 6 games. That's the last 6 games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. PSV.
He analyzed the games that we did not win. The PSG game was a dead rubber. Don't count that game. Whatever happened in that game, we had won the group. Like,
so
nobody cared about that game.
Moving the goalposts. First, I gave you the league numbers.
I'm not moving the goalposts. You're just trying to be a smartass as you always are.
Move the goalposts.
You're trying to add in games that
haven't lost 6 games
that have no relation. So don't. I didn't mean the 1 out of 7. That's PSG. No, I mean PSV. Nobody cares about the PSV game. What the guy did was a statistical analysis of the last 6 games that we did not win and why we didn't win them.
Okay, so all the way back to West Ham then?
The actual topic of the article was not about Arsenal's underperforming. The actual topic of the article was whether if Arsenal signed Tony or a striker, their XG would it be improved? And his main thing was, no, it wouldn't. It wouldn't be improved that much because all the other players are underperforming based on the XG that they're creating. So
you're creating mid-table levels of XG. You're not creating a lot of chances in the first place, right? You're 8th or 9th in chance creation.
Yes, but that's because in the first 2 months of our season, we weren't creating as many chances as before. We've created. No, I think
this whole season
in the last month or 2, we've created one of the highest amounts of chances in the league and XG.
Okay, first of all, XG is not number of chances created; it's the quality.
I know, man. Taken. Stop with this topic, okay? We're not going to agree. We're not going to agree.
You brought it up.
No, we're not going to agree. Okay.
So let's go to the main question.
You're wrong.
Let's go to the main question. So, like I said in the beginning, your main objective, right? Everybody from I think the funniest guy on YouTube is not Igal, and it's not even Ty. I think
who's the funniest guy? Danny?
The funniest Arsenal guy is a B-Tech wannabe Debo steroid pumping Gunnar Lee. This guy had the gall on Christmas Day or the day after Boxing Day to come up and say not only that Arsenal will win the Premier League, but also the Champions League. They go missing for 2 weeks on YouTube platform.
In my defense, Mari, I did not say that. So don't give me shit for
not you. But Lee, I roasted the last show. And finally came back and starts saying some bull crap and stuff like that. Like humble thyself. Humble thyself.
Humble thyself to Chelsea, Man United, Man City fans, but not to Spurs fans. I'm sorry. Like Spurs fans.
No. It's humble thyself to the whole league and whatsoever. It's not a certain set of teams. This is 2024. We're not looking at past. We have to focus on the now. We have to focus on the now. And right now is humble thyself with your rivals. And so it was good to see him eat crow. But it's still 17 games left. So the main question is, will Arsenal win the league? Do you still believe they can win the league?
Yeah, I do. I really do. I think no, it's funny, Stel, as a Spurs fan, he's the only thing that
never learn. You
No,
never
no,
learn.
no. The only thing that you guys get up for is seeing Arsenal fail because you win nothing.
Oh my god.
So no, I really do because I think Liverpool.
Kai
That's the
Havertz.
norm,
I don't
man.
think.
Kai Havertz is going to lift it, man. I can see it.
Yeah. You were when he was going through his good form. You were silent again, huh? You were
those 3
like
weeks.
with,
those 3 weeks of
like
the
with
season.
fucking,
those magical 3 weeks.
Yeah. Just like with your Levy out when Spurs win, nothing to see Levy out, huh? But when they start losing, Levy out, huh?
When you're finishing 8th and 8th, it's Cronky out.
You know what?
No,
Everyone can have a magical
Nobody
few
says
weeks.
Cronky out
Okay.
from Arsenal.
No.
Nobody
Stefan,
says Cronky out.
You had
everyone
10,000
can get on
people at your
form
stadium
and have a
with
purple
Cronky out
patch.
banners.
Okay.
Stefan.
Richie
Yes,
is
3 years ago, Stel. 3 years ago.
When you were 8th.
Yes.
When you lose it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now when we lose a game,
just said to me,
we're not you. When we
You
lose
are
a game, we
worse
don't
than
go
us.
Levy out.
You are exactly the
You're
same
worse
shit.
than us.
Yeah. Of course.
Listen,
Sixth,
don't worry about
Will,
what happens.
you won fuck off for 16 years, man.
Will,
Will, you won zilch for 16 years, man. Shut the fuck. You're a Spurs fan. If you were a Chelsea fan, a Man United fan.
Wait.
Ben White, he's doing well.
What does it matter that you've won an FA Cup during the pandemic when you haven't been able to be successful in the league for a
pandemic
decade?
or no pandemic? Have you won anything, pandemic or no pandemic? Even in your golden generation.
Stefan. I need to stop you there. And I heard the best from Big Up to Rams and Mons who said this. And I know Will has said this before. I'll say it again. My pet peeve in this debate, like I said, I used to teach history before I became a counselor. So I taught world history, U.S. civics, whatsoever. I don't want to hear about history, especially when within the last 20 years, the two majors, right? European Championship and Premier League, you guys have not won. All right. Yes, I know we have won that one cup, but sprinkled within those 20, 25 years, you guys have won a couple FA Cups. Please,
we've won 7 FA Cups, man. What do you wait?
No, it's 2004. You haven't won 7 FA Cups since 2004.
Wait. 7? No. I thought it was 4.
No, last decade it's 4.
Arsenal's not a big
Since
club
2004, it's 7 FA Cups.
Arsenal's not a big club anymore.
Okay, so
by that logic, what are Spurs?
I can say if Chelsea,
we're not a big club either. We're not big either.
Chelsea is pouncing on us of what they've accomplished. I can stand even Liverpool to a point, though they've won League Cup, but they've won a couple of Europeans.
Liverpool have always been good in European Cup. It's part of their DNA. They've always, even when they were shit in the league.
Even United, though they're starting to get to that expiration point because it's about to get 10 years in counting.
Are they? They still win trophies though.
No,
I'm talking about the major ones. So for me, I find it very.
You haven't won 7 FA Cups since 2003.
Listen. Yeah. When we're talking football, then you always bring up we won one trophy. Yeah. It's not that if Arsenal did something spectacular. If a City fans tell me to tell me this, you know what? Okay, I'll listen back. I'm still gonna talk about football because it's football.
I agree.
But Arsenal's
hold on.
No. I want to answer that. I want to know. I want to answer that.
You have not won 7 FA Cups. Take it back.
How much have we won? Will tell me.
Take it back.
How much have we won?
5.
How much have we won?
5.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So take it back.
I'll take it back. We've only won 14 FA Cups overall. Sorry, we're the most successful FA Cup team. And but
not under Arteta.
I would.
Not under Arteta.
I would.
Oh, but
yes,
you
haven't won an FA Cup since '91. So please, know your place. When you talk,
Arteta's not going to tell
you. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You're telling us know our place, and I'm trying to tell you your place is within the same house.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I'll tell you why.
Now, no, it's within the same house. You ask any Liverpool fan, Chelsea fan, and City fan, they laugh every time Arsenal fans shit
Liverpool. Really? Liverpool laugh?
You're in the same house. You're technically in the same house. Yes, you got a couple FA Cups.
Are we in the same house? We're the third most
You haven't
successful
won the
club in
league.
history. What are you talking
You
about?
won the league. You haven't
Yes,
done
we
anything
haven't.
Europe.
Liverpool, when they
You
won their
haven't
first,
Europe.
they won one
You
league
won the
title.
league.
It took them 30. First of all, I would agree with you, Mari. Liverpool hadn't won the league for 30 years before they won it. But second of all, I would take it from Liverpool and Man City fans and Chelsea fans and Man United fans. But from Spurs fans, in which Wigan, fucking Swansea, and a number of Leicester have won more than you. Have won more than you in the last. Wigan have won more than you in the last 30 years.
Leicester City has recently won the league.
What are you talking about? In the last 30 years?
Yes, Wigan.
How many trophies is winning?
Wigan have won an FA Cup. You've won 2 league cups, Will. So that is more decorated than winning fucking 2 league cups. I'm sorry.
No, so
Wigan
number of trophies
won
is
an
trophies.
FA Cup.
Hold on. So one FA Cup is worth more than 2 league cups?
Absolutely, yes. I would rather win 1 FA Cup than 2 league cups. Absolutely. The FA Cup is the oldest cup competition in history. It's football heritage.
Okay, so it's not number of trophies then.
Why are we talking about 20 years ago when Arteta is the one?
We're not talking about 20 years ago. Arsenal won FA Cup 3 years ago.
30 years, by the way.
But that's my point. Arsenal won a cup.
Whether why it's 5-6 years ago, am I living today or in the past?
No,
right
3
now,
years ago. Arsenal won a cup 3 years ago, Stel.
Right now.
You haven't won a cup in 16 years.
Why are we talking about 3 years ago? Why are we talking about now? Right now.
And what have you won now? Tell me, what have you won now to talk to Arsenal fans about us winning?
Right now, the same as you, nothing.
Okay, but exactly. So what are you talking? What are you talking to Arsenal fans? What do you when you have won nothing?
You are the one who said Spurs will capitulate. We haven't.
Yet yes, when you've gone from first to fifth.
You've gone from first to fourth on the same points as us in fifth. So when you call us a capitulation and yours a rut, you are being disingenuous to what's going on.
Of course I am. I'm biased. I fucking hate you guys. Are you surprised?
That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
You're biased.
What are you? Are you surprised? Okay. Oh, okay. At least I admit it. At least unlike Will, who continuously glorifies Spurs, predicts them to make 86
Who's been
points,
better over the last 10 years?
And acts like it's fucking
let me ask you a question, Stefan.
Objective.
Let me ask you a question.
And when they don't finish third this year, which they won't, Will's going to come up with another smart-ass bullshit answer as to why they didn't finish third with his other ridiculous predictions previously. So don't give me this. I'm biased just like every
that's what you call a straw man, right? First of all. Secondly,
please. I don't want to insult you.
What's more difficult?
But you're really condescending. And
I'm condescending really because you're literally condescending me right now. And you expect me to just sit here and listen to you lie about things that I've said?
Lie about things?
Yeah.
Did you not predict you would get 86 points last year?
I did.
Okay, then. Shut the fuck up, then.
When did I predict that?
You were wrong by 30 fucking points.
When did I predict that?
I don't care when you predicted that. Okay, that's not the point.
When you predicted that you guys were going to score.
See, this is what I mean.
Hold on. When you predicted hold on. When you just predicted on this channel, on this show, more than a few months ago, that you were going to get 90-something points this season.
I said
that is now mathematically impossible. You were wrong.
I predicted. No, it's not. It's still not impossible. I said we would get 91 points. I think in the end, and I still believe that. I still think we'll get better because the way we're playing, it's not that bad.
How many games remain in the season? 18
games. Let's see. Stefan. I don't want to hear. I'm gonna. Wait, Stel. Let me answer you. Wait.
I've got a football question for you. I've got a football question for you on what you just said, right? You just said that you think you're going to get better. Fair enough.
100%.
Right. Okay. Listen, and that's fair enough.
So the question was
1 minute. Murray, hold on 1 minute. Spurs are on the same points as you. Madison comes back. Son comes back.
It's over.
Hear me out. No, hear me out. They come back.
Okay, and
can we not get better as well then?
In terms of, I think you can get better, but defensively, Stel, I have watched you with almost your first starting defense. You give up too many chances, man. That luck that you had against, let's be honest, Bournemouth and Everton, Bournemouth had 20 shots. Everton had almost 20 shots.
Murray, 1 minute. Murray, 1 second.
This guy just makes numbers up off the top of his head.
Bournemouth had 20 shots against you. Check.
Stefan,
20 shots.
Hold on, Stefan. Hold on. you can have 20 shots from the edge of the box, right? Doesn't matter.
But they weren't 20 shots from the edge of the box.
Hold on. I'm prepared to meet you halfway. We didn't have Udogie, Van der Ven, Romero, and Porro in the back line for that game. And the games where we have given the most chance.
Wait. Porro played.
No. All of them at once. I'm talking about, not individuals, right? So now we've got our full strength defense back, right? Hear me out. Just how you say, but I've seen you give up too much chances. My counter to that is, but you don't take enough chances. So if you're going to get better, you need to start taking those chances.
I disagree.
Let me finish my point. And for us to get better, we need to continue not conceding as many. So is there not a situation where both teams can still improve? Not just
Bournemouth.
100.
Wait. No. Bournemouth had 24 shots against us.
24 shots.
11 of them were blocked. They had 4 on target.
Okay.
The rest of those were skied over the bar.
Okay. I remember Solanke.
You remember wrong.
Wait, no, I'm not. Because if you watch
11 of those 24 shots were blocked, Stefan.
Okay. Will, I watched the game. You watched the game also. Solanke missed a complete open goal. He missed an open goal, pretty much a sitter.
Okay, they had one big chance the whole game, Stefan.
What are you talking about? It was 1-0.
They had one big chance out of 24 of their shots.
Did you watch the game?
Yes, I watched the game. I did a watch along for the game.
They dominated you for a large period of the game. You were playing on the counter.
Where did they dominate us?
Oh, come on, man. Okay, Everton. What about Everton? You scored a goal, and then literally Everton absolutely peppered your goal, man. How did Everton? Are you saying you weren't lucky that Everton didn't get at least a draw in that game?
No, we weren't lucky.
You weren't lucky in that game?
We beat Bournemouth 3-1.
No, I'm talking about Everton.
Everton, we weren't lucky in that game either.
I'm talking about when we've got our players back, Stefan. Not these teams, these games where we didn't have, when we had quite a few players missing.
But you will never have your play. You in terms of, I get what you're trying to say, but I just think it's again the Arsenal fans. I don't want to do that. Injuries happen with every scope. Arsenal fans can say the same thing. We're missing our best midfield player. He is, on his day, in my opinion, the best number 6 in the league.
So are we, Madison. We've missed him for 2 months.
He's not the best number 10 in the league.
Yes, best number 6.
He's our best midfielder.
I wouldn't say he's your best player. I would say Son is your best.
He's our best midfielder.
I would say Son is your best player. But
Madison was the best number 10 in the league before he got injured.
Of course.
Partey. Wait. Partey is the best number 6 in the league.
In my opinion, yes.
Better than Rodri.
In my opinion, I'm not saying every time I've watched him play against Rodri, he has outplayed Rodri.
Yeah, and then he got skinned by Weston McKennie. Congratulations.
Weston McKennie, really? Well, are you still on the McKennie train? Didn't you see how dog shit he was at Leeds to not realize that he's not good enough?
First of all, Weston McKennie wasn't dog shit at Leeds. Second of all,
Weston
McKennie literally made
it
look like Thomas Partey couldn't play football when the US
played
Ghana.
The one where we beat Leeds every single time, every time we played them?
No, the one in which Weston McKennie literally made Partey fall to the ground.
Okay, so one instance where he dribbles past Partey means Partey is shit. Great
Dropped his shoulder on him, Partey falls over.
No, you're right. Yeah, because Rodri has never been shimmied or dribbled past. Man, you're embarrassing. You're embarrassing. The amount of time, how biased you're embarrassing.
You see Arsenal, right? Without Partey, you've been all right. It's only the last 4 or 5 games you've wobbled, right?
I agree.
Without Rodri, Man City
lost 3 out of 4.
They look a shadow of the team.
I agree.
So for me, so I think Rodri, hands down, is better than Partey.
But
Rodri helped Man City.
I disagree.
I
disagree with this.
He scored the winning goal.
Again, that's unfair because Man City don't have...
Where's the clutch moment from Partey?
Wait. Man City don't have anybody to replace Rodri still. We had Declan Rice. That's why Arsenal have looked good. But please, make this argument. If Partey comes into our midfield, doesn't it get better? Could you not say it gets much better?
That's a different argument.
What do you mean it's a different argument?
You're saying Partey comes into Rodri. You said Partey is better than Rodri.
I'm saying this is my opinion. Every time I've watched Partey,
Rodri's proven.
I have. Okay. How is he proving it? The fact that he's proven it. He's proven it that he's
done at Arsenal.
Wait. First of all, that's not true because last season when Partey was injured, our season also went downhill. Two years ago, when Partey got injured in the last 2 months of the season.
But now you have Declan Rice. You didn't have Declan Rice last season, and now you have Declan Rice.
Yes, we have that. But that doesn't mean that.
Shouldn't you be better without Partey?
No.
Than you were last season?
Partey is our best midfielder. He makes our midfield much better when he plays.
He might be your best midfielder, but he's not better than Rodri.
It's not better than Rodri.
Okay, I get it. I don't think so. I think Partey. I've watched Partey against Man City play against Rodri, and every single time he's played against Rodri, he's outplayed him in my opinion.
We've lost every time Rodri plays.
No, we didn't. We didn't lose last time. Partey played. He came on and changed the game.
Rodri didn't play.
Did he play? I forgot.
No.
Okay.
He's suspended.
We've lost every game, but I'm talking about just watching them both play.
How's he rarely,
in my opinion, he rarely outplays Partey. I think Partey is just that's my opinion. I just really rate. You guys know my opinion of Partey. A lot of Arsenal fans think Declan Rice is better. I disagree. I think Partey is one of the most underrated players in the league because he's injured too much. I agree with this, but Partey on his day last year, the two main reasons why we started so well and our two best players were three. Our three best players in the first 4 or 5 months of the season last year was Saliba, Partey, and Jesus. Partey was insane last year. And for the time
he's a bad player, Stefan, I'm not saying he's a bad player, but he's not better than Rodri.
Okay, that's your opinion. I think he is. I think Partey. The only reason I'll tell you why it seems like that, because Partey now has Rice behind him, so it doesn't look like Arsenal miss him as much. I agree with you, Stel. The reason why Man City look lost without Rodri is because they have no other number 6. Pep Guardiola doesn't trust Calvin Phillips. He plays Kovacic there. He even plays Bernardo Silva as a 6, and just so he doesn't play Calvin Phillips. So of course, Rodri.
I think it has, I think it has affected you because Partey's ability to play those quick forward passes to the wide channels is now missing. Right?
That's my Declan Rice. Yeah,
but you see, without Kevin De Bruyne, Man City didn't have that issue, so you can't use that as an argument.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not saying Rodri is. I just think Partey is better. I think Partey is an overall player. The reason why I think Partey is better than Rodri is
chat. Big up to Saba and Football Heritage TV.
Arsenal fans are a joke. Okay.
Let's read it out.
TV. They are close to 13K. Watch the Undisputed show that was on there earlier. Will and Stel was on there with Saba and has Stefan have a day off. Rodri is the best midfielder in the league. He makes the best team in the world tick. This is waffle and why Arsenal fans are a
again. I never said he's not an amazing player. I just think Partey, in terms of ability-wise, don't forget Sava, who started at Atletico Madrid. Was it Partey or Rodri? Check. Go check.
Hold on.
Who started? No, check. When they were playing together.
We're judging the here and now. The last 2-3 years.
I'm just saying that Diego Simeone had both of them.
4 years ago, you'd say Dele Alli's better than Saka 4 years ago. We can't do that.
Okay. Still, I am not. Again, you guys are misinterpreting. It's just my opinion. You guys don't agree with it, okay? I just really rate when I watch Partey at his best. He is like the way he makes our play tick, and Stel said it, the way he progresses the play. Declan Rice is an amazing player in terms of physicality, winning the ball back, tracking back and stuff, stuff. But Declan Rice, in terms of his passing ability and passing through the lines, is not as good as Partey. And I think Partey coming into this midfield makes us way better because Partey is a quality player. If he's not better than Rodri, he is easily one of the best number 6s in the league. Do you guys agree with that at least? He's one of the best defensive midfielders in the league. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree. He's up there.
Okay, so we're missing
he's barely there, but yeah.
I'm telling you, he is in terms of key to our system. him and Saliba are the two most important players. It's not Saka. It's not Jesus. Even when Jesus
Saliba's not even your best
hold
defender.
on. Let me ask you a question. Okay, let me ask you a couple questions, Stefan.
Yeah.
One question is, do you think that you are better than you were last season?
That's the most important question.
Again, that's a very, I would say, a loaded question because of the fact that you're missing context, CQ. Last season, teams didn't play the same way they against now. Last season, teams didn't think we would challenge for the league, so naturally they played much more attacking and much more open against us. This season, teams drop much more. They play with a.
But no, hold on. I get what you're saying. That context, I agree. Okay, but
I would
take that. Hold on, take that out of it. The way that other guys are.
How can I take that out of it?
Hold on. Are you guys playing better this season than you
It depends. It depends. It's not a black and white answer. In terms of the way we defend, the way we control games, chances, yes, we're much better. We're easily the best defensive team in the league in terms of the amount of chances we concede, the way
last season, more now than last season, you're saying?
In terms of defensive, yeah, way more than last season.
Okay,
but going forward,
hold on. Do you feel like your squad is stronger now than last season?
Yes, for sure. The only thing was that we got really unlucky that Timber got injured at the start of the season.
Okay, hold on. If that's the case, then why? If that's the case, then why just taking out Partey is like a complete game changer, and that's like a whole thing versus last season. Because hold on, you just said last season your best players were Saliba, Jesus, and Partey. You said that, right?
Yeah.
You've had Jesus, and you have had.
We haven't had Jesus.
You've had Jesus.
Two-thirds of the season he's been injured.
Saliba and Jesus for longer periods of time, more consistently this season thus far, up until this point, than you did last season.
Okay. First, Partey.
And now you have Declan Rice.
No, I just want to compare.
Now you have Declan Rice behind Partey.
Yes, but with Partey, we're much better. So Stel just pointed out that when Man City lose a key player like Rodri, they went down. Arsenal have lost one of their key players, which is Partey. We haven't gone down as per se, but we're not as good without Partey. Partey is, you can't replace Partey. Like when
you were top of the league without him, Stefan.
I know.
I wasn't hearing this when you were top of the league.
You were, because Mari can back me up. I always talk about Partey. I always talk about how much we miss Partey.
You were top.
You talk about a lot of things, Stefan.
No, he does. But the most important thing is, right? You said that they're going to win the league, right?
Yeah.
Where are you guys going to get these goals, right? Because Martinelli, and to be honest, Martinelli has only proven one season to score goals, right? There's a reason that Jesus was let go by City, right? And then you got Saka, who on the road, and G-Chain, if you can hear it, Saka on the road is totally different than Saka at home. Where are you going to get the goals to keep up with City and Liverpool? As a matter of fact, I'm not going to put.
I agree. I agree with you.
City team that just got De Bruyne back, and you see, we talked about it earlier. We saw what De Bruyne has output in one game against Newcastle, a goal and assist. How you guys are going to?
De Bruyne is a generational player. We talked about this at the start of the stream. De Bruyne he's like Henry. You cannot replace the impact of De Bruyne. But for me, what I am saying is that I think Arsenal, and whatever Sava is saying, I've never said Saka's world class. You guys can say that. Like, I've never said Saka is world class. I really rate Saka.
Let me read this. Stefan, you probably think Saka is world class and worth 100 mil. Why are
I don't even think Saliba is world class. I've told you this. Everyone
is overrated by them. Oh, you don't think Saliba's world class?
I don't think one great season can turn you. I think you need to do it for 3 to 4 seasons.
Agree with you.
That's why when I read shit like Van Dijk is the greatest ever Premier League defender, I'm sorry. Maybe in terms of ability and talent, But no, I'm not having it. Tony Adams did it for 10 years. Rio Ferdinand did it for over a decade.
I agree with you.
Like all these players that I can name that did it for, even Vidic did it for a longer period of time than Van Dijk. So this type of the world-class tag, I think nowadays is said much easier. I've never said Saka is world-class.
Stefan, are you prepared to admit that to some degree, what we're seeing this season so far, like going out the domestic cups in the early rounds, just kind of stuttering in the league, like you didn't quite start like this last year towards the end, but that was because of injuries, let's say. Do you admit that Arteta hasn't quite got it right this season? He hasn't quite got it right. And I'm talking about the signing of Havertz, giving Nketiah a new contract, not bringing in a proper killer striker, messing around with the goalkeepers. Are you prepared to admit that actually he's kind of fucked it up a bit here?
No, it's still too early. Do I question some of the decisions? Yes, Kai Havertz needs to do more. I agree with you, but he's on 6 goals and 2 assists, which is almost the same as Granit Xhaka. I think finished last season with 7 goals and I think 4 or 5 assists. So, this whole concept that Granit Xhaka was some sort of like, I don't know, like that has he been a big enough upgrade for the money that we've paid? No, I agree with you, Stal. But in my honest opinion, the way I see us progress and the way I see us evolve in terms of our play, last season, we looked a lot like in terms of the way Spurs play, which was we were really front foot. We were running. We ran ourselves to the ground mentally and physically by March and April, and we got injuries as a result. That's why Spurs, I think if you get European football next year, you're really going to struggle playing this type of end-to-end basketball football.
Liverpool play the same way. They just
They don't play as open as you guys do. They don't. Like, I don't see it. Maybe because Liverpool have Van Dijk and Kanate, so they cover.
When Liverpool played the Gegenpress a couple of years ago, they were even more intense. Look, choke teams.
I agree, but here's the thing. Liverpool went through an injury crisis. They've gone through a couple. Last year, they went through an injury crisis. And remember the year where they lost Van Dijk? They were playing with Nat Phillips in defense because everybody got injuries. And not minor injuries. They got muscle injuries, which is from the actual sprints. The Athletic today, the Spurs journalist did a piece on your hamstring injuries and why you have so many hamstring injuries.
I don't read the Athletic. They're idiots. They're absolute idiots. They are, man. I've had it out with them many times.
Okay, forget that. But Sky Sports did a really good graph of the amount of sprints that each team has done since the start of the season. And Spurs were by far top. You guys were like almost like, I think, 200 sprints more.
Andrew's first season at Celtic, Stefan. Andrew's first season at Celtic. They don't hear me out. They had the exact same injury problems. But then the following season, once the players adapted, they didn't have that issue.
Yeah, it's Celtic. They have 2 big games every year in the Scottish League.
No, but they had the same injury. They had the same injury problems.
Okay, but here's the thing. You cannot look. We talk shit to each other, this and that. I'm biased, but I'm gonna tell you my honest opinion of why I don't think this is sustainable, this type of football. Whenever I watch Spurs, it always goes through the same pattern. I don't know if you guys see this. You might say I'm talking shit. The first 10 to 15 minutes, you start like a house on fire. You're running, you score a goal, maybe.
Sometimes.
Then, after you score a goal, in the last 20 to 15 minutes of the half, you're fucking shattered. Like the team comes on to you the same way Everton did, the same way Bournemouth did. And it's the same thing. Halftime comes up, the first 15 minutes of the second half, again, same thing. You start really well, you're on top. And then the last 25 to 20 minutes, I would say, in the second half, again, you're dead. Brennan Johnson, I don't know if you guys have forget the quality. I agree with you.
I think he's rubbish.
I agree with you that I don't think he'll be good enough, but the guy is shattered after 50 minutes. He can't track. Like, if you watch him on the pitch, he can't track back.
Against Man United, Man United had the upper hand the first 10 minutes and they scored. Then Spurs got into the game. So the opposite happened. In the second half, we dominated.
Home games. Okay, I'm more so talking about the home games that I've watched. Away games, you're different. Away games, it's not like that.
Stefan, when we've got our proper starting 11, because we don't have squad depth at the moment, when we've got a proper starting 11, what you described isn't what happens. this has been something that's been happening because we've got substandard players coming in that can't play to the same level. They can play the system, but they can't deliver it as well as the better players.
Okay.
For me, we're in that process, that transition. Once, hopefully, Levy backs him and we get the quality in the squad.
Okay.
Because this is where I know you've got a recency bias, because in the beginning of the season when we would argue, when we were arguing the points, you would say we were putting games away in the last minute.
No, but you were
we were.
Will, you were the difference between you and those teams is you had Son, who was clinical.
Son was off the pitch.
Okay, no, I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about in the Everton game. Son won you that game because he was clinical. I think he scored the second goal, right? I think.
Yeah, but again, we had a lot of players out, Stefan. That's what I mean.
Okay, but even if you watch the other games, even if you watch, like, let's say, which home game did I watch? The Fulham game where you won 2-0. It was exactly the same. It was the first 30 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes, they were good. And then Fulham came on to you and you guys looked tired. The Everton game for me was the biggest example in which literally in the last 25 minutes, the intensity dropped massively. And I've noticed this in a number of games now at home.
I have a question for you, Stefan.
Can I say? I think.
Wait.
No, go.
Call me biased. Hate on me in the chat.
No,
but that's my, that's what I see.
Stefan, you know my opinions about some of the players, especially our forwards.
Yeah, Brennan. Yeah, I know your opinion of Brennan Johnson. Yeah,
but
you're right to me all the time.
Johnson, and you know my thoughts on Kulu. I'm a bit harsh on Kulu and whatsoever. But have you heard the neutrals, right? Other people with Liverpool, even some Arsenal supporters, along with Gary Neville, along with some of the pundits, a lot of them are now giving our flowers, saying, even with this squad, you can see the type of football that Spurs are playing. Like it doesn't. One man's out, next man up. Even though that person may be dog shit, right?
Royale.
Next man up. It's the same philosophy. Can you see ongoing the next following seasons that if Ange, and here's the $1 million question, if Ange gets back, and we know Daniel Levy, if he actually gets back and gets his players, that Tottenham will be in a position where we were with Redknapp and Pochettino
I honestly
compete for trophies.
Look, again, you're going to shit on me. He gives me vibes of Harry Redknapp. It's literally the same. I would say Harry Redknapp had better players.
But Redknapp wasn't playing back.
The same. No, wait. Let me just. It gives you the same vibes in terms of you can go and you go beat a team 6-1, okay? And then you'd play great football with Modric, with Bale, with some great players, with Defoe. But then you'd go away to Anfield and lose 7-3 or 7-2 or something like that. Like that is the vibes. Away from home, the Brighton game, if we're being honest with ourselves, Brighton could have scored 7 or 8 goals in that game. They scored 4. They could have scored at least another 2 or 3. The amount of chances that you give up, to give up 20 shots to Bournemouth at home. I think you gave up, was it 16 against Everton? And Everton had some, Vicario won you that game because he made one ridiculous save. You also got a bit lucky with the bar where it hit off his knee. They had a goal disallowed because the guy's heel was offside. So you had a bit of luck in that game. But the amount of chances that you give up away from home, even the Nottingham game that you won, you barely created anything until the mistake, and then you scored the second goal. That game was one moment of brilliance from Kulusevski, the cross to Richarlison, and then the second goal was the poor mistake by the goalie.
Without Maddison, we lack a lot of creativity.
Okay, but my point is that even with that creativity style, away from home, I honestly think you give up. The system is too open. The Man United, let's just talk about the Man United game.
We're on the same points as you, so how can it be that open?
I agree.
It clearly works.
Yes, okay. It's okay. I mean, if you want to, I think Arsenal are doing poorly, but Spurs are doing really well. Okay, so you want to look. It's January.
I agree with that. Stefan, I agree with that. I agree with what you said. I think you're doing poorly and we're doing well.
Okay, but I think it's January. I think it's too early to tell. The same way Man City looked dead in the water last year in January. They turned it on. So
only idiots write off Man City, man.
I agree, but I'm saying Arsenal, if you look at their next 5 to 6 games, we can go on a very good run. our games are not very like they're very winnable. So, but forget that. But that's if you watch the Man United Spurs game, right? Go watch some of the amount of space that you gave to Marcus Rashford in that game. There was one moment, it was 2-1 to Man United in the first half, and Højlund laid it off to Marcus Rashford in the box. He was in acres of space, but because of his poor first touch, he didn't even get a shot on.
Yeah, but
I'm
this is
saying that.
but Stefan, this is risk reward, right? Ange Postecoglou. Wait, hold on. Ange Postecoglou in multiple interviews has admitted we will always give up chances, but as long as we create more and we shoot more, and we've got, and in most games a higher XG, then law of averages, you will outscore the opposition, right? That's his way of doing it. And to be honest with you, most of the time, that's what the end game stats show us.
So you're saying. So basically, but how is that do you really think you can play this end-to-end basketball football with so much sprinting?
It's not end-to-end. We dominate the ball. It's not end-to-end.
No, you still.
The only teams that cause us problems are low block teams and counter-attack teams. They're the only ones that ever cause us issues. Every other team we dominate. Every other team we dominate.
Bournemouth. So you dominated Bournemouth at home. You did.
No, but they didn't play. That wasn't end-to-end. They low blocked.
It was end-to-end because you guys they played with super. It was end-to-end. You guys won that game because you played counter-attacking and you managed to score your chances. Solanke
we don't play counter-attacking, Stefan. We don't play counter-attacking.
In that game, in after you scored the first goal, let's be honest, Bournemouth started getting on top of the game, especially.
Look,
they had a moment of possession, but the overall possession we had more.
You're going to have games where the opposition.
I agree with Mark here.
Listen, you cannot expect just to outscore the team.
Well, I agree with this.
Yes, you can, because
that's literally the point of the game is to outscore the other team.
The team that scores the most wins. This is like stupid. Mark always does this. Mark's always got these like illogical.
But I agree with him. It's usually the
team that scores the most wins. You have to outscore the opposition.
I disagree, still. Usually the best team.
I disagree.
Scores the most wins.
Okay, yes, Man City do score the most usually.
No. The team that scores the most wins every game.
Yeah, of course. I mean, yes, but I'm talking about that. Yeah, sometimes everything is going for you. Like, for example, the Everton game. If we're looking at it fairly, Everton should have gone at least a draw. In another game where, let's say, you give up the same amount of chances that you did. The same amount of chance that you did to Everton and Bournemouth, you lose those games and you don't score your chances. That's my point.
I don't disagree with you, but when you've got Ben Davies and Chicken Royale as your two centre backs, it's a massive problem. No team can play with these kind of players at the back and expect to be better than the other team every week. It's not going to happen. The fact that distance these players is a testament to the system. Without this system, it's what's kept us touching distance. It's kept us there because we still create.
The attacking system is
Mourinho and Conte, with the injuries and suspensions we've had this year, would be even more low block, even more defensive, try and get one goal off from a set piece.
Okay.
But Ange's different. Ange's philosophy is, do you know what?
But that worries me, Stel, because Ange...
No. Any other manager, Poch, Redknapp, Conte, Nuno, any other manager...
No, don't put Redknapp. Redknapp was the same as Ange.
No, hear me out. With the injuries we've had this season, the self-inflicted suspensions, and selling Kane, none of them would keep us in touching distance on top four. None of these managers.
Okay, first of all,
so the system does work.
I just want to point
this because we don't have all the players we need.
I agree. He's done a better job than expected. But let's not forget that Mourinho
and system's done the job. The system's done the job.
The system has done the job up until now.
The man has never turned. He never went away from his philosophy. Not once.
But that worries me, Stel, because his ways.
And this is how we're doing it. And that's why we're still touching it. And that's why Man United in ninth.
Okay, but you cannot play like this. First of all, the way you play, the amount of running, the intensity that you do, you cannot play like this every 3 days. You can't. You won't.
We don't play every 3 days.
Brighton last season played the same exactly like you did.
We don't play every 3 days.
Okay, that's my opinion. I think you cannot sustain it every 3 days. I think it looks much better.
Stefan, you can if you've got a squad and you rotate, which is why in the summer Spurs need to sign 5 or 6 players that are better than Skip, Højbjerg, Timo, Brian Hill, and
Well, you can't replace. You can't replace 7, 8 players. You can't replace 7, 8 players in one window. Still, let's be honest.
We bought 7. We bought 7 last window in the summer.
Did you? Did you buy 7 players?
Yes, 7 players.
Who was the 7? Vicario, Madison,
Madison, Van de Ven, Brennan Johnson. We brought in Belize. We brought in Ashley Phillips, and there's one more.
Fuck Ashley Phillips. Come on. Come on. He's not. He's
a player we signed.
Okay, I mean that's like buying some youth player from like the academy at 17 and saying,
if you're talking about starting players, we signed 5, so we can do another 5 in the summer.
Okay, maybe, but
whether we do it or not, I don't know. I don't trust Levy, but if we do it,
my point is that my point
because we're going to rotate. We've just signed another centre backs. The centre backs. We've got Dragusin. Now we can properly rotate centre backs.
How?
We got
Dragusin. How do you know Dragusin is gonna fit immediately into the system?
He's better than Ben Davies, and he's better than Eric Dyer, Stefan. No doubt, 100%.
Okay, maybe. I mean, okay, but let me just add this point.
Do you think Timber's a better player than Dragusin?
In terms of Champions League experience, in terms of the amount of experience he's had, yes, I would have Timber over Dragusin.
Why?
Because he's played regularly in the Champions League for 3 years now. He plays for the Netherlands. He plays for Ajax. You know, for me, the amount of experience he has, I think.
Who did he play for in the Champions League?
He played for Ajax.
Okay. So, and is there never a time that they're not in the Champions League?
Yeah, but he still has that experience. Well, he didn't play for fucking Genoa. Like,
bro,
I'm sorry.
Like how
like, are you seriously going on about saying that Dragusin is better than Timber?
How many minutes does he have in the Champions League, man?
I don't know, but he's played in it.
You said he played regularly. You said he played regularly.
Right? He did.
How many minutes did he play in the Championship?
I don't know, but I remember watching him play against Benfica. I remember watching him play against Liverpool at Anfield. Like, he's played more minutes than Dragusin, and he's played more games at the top level than Dragusin. So it's like, why do you have to why do you do this?
Because you say
you always do this. Kulusevski was better than Saka. Why do you? Kulusevski was better than Saka. Now you signed Dragusin. You had no fucking idea who he was.
That season he was.
Now he's better than Timber. This is why,
that season, he was.
Stefan, to be fair, we haven't seen Timber play this season at all, so we don't know.
I watched him in the Community Shield where he won. No,
Stefan, that's one game. I'm talking about. We haven't seen him play against Liverpool, Tottenham, Man United, Aston Villa. So we don't know. We don't know who's better. I'm not saying Dragusin's better. We don't know.
But still wait. You're a coach. You've watched him play for Ajax. Does he look good still? Does he look like a good player? Come on.
I've also watched Dragusin play for Genoa. He looks good.
Okay.
They both look good to me. I don't know who's better.
Why do Spurs fans always do this? Why
what's
do
a more difficult league? Italy or
Stefan? I'm not saying
the Champions League. Well, the Champions League is the more difficult place to play.
Stefan,
he played like 500 minutes in the Champions League.
Stefan, I'm not saying Dragusin's
500 minutes more than Dragusin will.
Stefan,
0.
I'm not saying Dragusin's better. What I'm saying is neither have played in the Premier League even more than a game for us to know who's better. It's impossible to know.
Let's get back to in here. All right, so but Alex, you've heard because the question was, will Spurs get to top 4? Stefan says it's not sustainable, the type of football that we play. What are your thoughts about what Stefan says? And will Spurs?
I didn't say it's not I didn't say it's not sustainable. I just worry that the amount of chances that you concede, you won't keep winning games like you do. You won't keep getting breaks like against Everton, against Bournemouth.
That's not sustainable then, Stefan. That's not sustainable.
Okay, yeah, I agree. Because I think sustainable is a bit, harsh. But yeah, I agree. It's not. I don't think you're as good as you think you are based on the way you play. Just because you play attacking football doesn't mean you're actually
So is Steven
good.
Bergwijn better than Timber then because he has more Champions League experience?
Again, you asked me between Timber and Dragusin, and you're comparing a fucking winger to a right back. This is what I mean by your smart ass
winger to a right back. I'm talking about
one of the arguments.
Your method for him being better than Dragusin is because he's played in the Champions League.
No, my method is that he's played more top flight games, professional games at the top level than Dragusin. Dragusin plays for Genoa, which is far less pressure than playing for Ajax. At Ajax, you're expected to win. At Ajax, you play in the Champions League. So there's far more pressure on Timber than to play for Genoa. Well,
but the quality
wait, let me answer. Second of all, at Genoa, Dragusin mainly played in a 3. Timber always played as in a 4, and he always played either as a center back or a right back.
What? He didn't play in a 3?
Yes, he did. Go check the actual formations at Genoa.
Yeah, they played 4 at the back last season in the Serie A. What are you talking about?
Okay, go check. Go check.
You go
check which formation. No, it doesn't seem like
you go check. I already know because when I was researching him, he plays left. He plays left center back for them in a 4.
Yes. Check how many of those games he played as part of a back 3 compared to as part of a back 2. Go check. The percentage is far higher as part of a back 3. So please go check.
Let's have Alex unleash.
Go, Alex.
Make yourself known.
I just wanted to say something because that was just painful. That was just absolutely painful between you, Will and Stefan. Honestly, the fact that we're arguing about 2 players that haven't really made their names right now just shows you that a team just haven't won trophies. 2 teams that have just not won decent trophies in the last how many years? I'm sorry, because if that was the Arsenal of 1990 in the 90s, they wouldn't be in those arguments because they'd just say, "I've got this trophy, this trophy, this trophy, this trophy, this trophy." Yeah, right. Tottenham fans are just saying this about our players right now because we've got nothing to show for it because we haven't won no trophies, and that's it.
What are you talking about, Alex?
No, you know what I'm talking about, Will. You know what I'm talking about, Will.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about, Will. Because you don't want to admit it right now. You don't want to admit it right now because the point is right now that's a pathetic argument. Because
Alex,
what I'm hearing is right now we're talking about 2 players.
Let Alex finish.
Talk about 2 players.
I actually agree with Alex.
Gusin and Timber.
Let him finish, then you can both.
Gusin and Timber, right? And let's be honest here. They ain't started yet, right? And we're arguing who's better, who's had more Champions Leagues. Who cares? Who gives a monkeys?
Okay, Alex, are you done?
Who cares?
Are you finished? Back to me now?
No. If you
because I haven't finished yet. I'm making my point, but I'm just making the point that it's pathetic. I've sat here for 20 minutes and you're moaning about Dragusin, who's only just started, by the way, right? And you're talking about Timber, who's injured. Who cares? As long as they get on the pitch and show what they make themselves know, that's what I'm saying at the moment. But you're not making stats about who's had more Champions League. Who cares?
Alex,
who gives a
what was the point? What was the point of me bringing it up?
To try and make you feel yourself better about Spurs because that's what you always do.
That's what he's doing. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. It's pathetic.
That's your whole life.
I wasn't speaking to you. I'm speaking to Alex.
Well, go on, Will. Justify your point. Justify it then.
So the reason I'm bringing it up is because this guy right here was saying Timber was one of their best players. This guy was bigging up Timber. I think Dragusin. Hold on. I think Dragusin's a 5 out of 10. Okay? 5 out of 10 signing. I've already said it. Hold on. You did.
Don't talk shit. Okay. Don't lie. I didn't say he was one of our best players.
You did.
I said he was in the preseason and in the Community Shield.
Stop. At the beginning of the show, I said we dropped off a form because we were missing our best, 5 of our best players. And you said, so were we. And I said, what best players were you missing? You said Timber and Partey.
And no, I said Jesus, Partey, and then I said even Timber because he would have started more than.
You didn't even mention Jesus then. Watch the tape back.
Okay,
right?
I'll watch.
Don't call me a liar when I can remember what you said 20 minutes ago. If you can't remember, you got to go back and watch it.
Okay. Yeah.
Next of all, the whole point of bringing in Dragusin is that people rate Timber far greater than he is. That's the point.
Of course.
Right? Because he's an average player who hasn't even played in the Champions League as much as Steven Bergwijn. And I guarantee you, he wouldn't say that Steven Bergwijn's a good player.
Why are you comparing a defender to a winger? Why?
Talking
Is this
about
how sad you
used
are?
time in the
Just so you
Champions
can
League is a
compare
reason why he
the
was
Spurs?
good. You used that, not me. I didn't bring up Champions League minutes. You did. And a player who has more Champions League minutes for the exact same club from the exact same league is not good. But Timber's good because he had time in the Champions League.
I guarantee you guys, if Spurs
These
had
are
signed
your
Timber,
arguments that I'm destroying.
I guarantee you,
not mine.
I guarantee you, if Spurs had signed Timber, this guy here on the wait, I can't. This guy
point to the opposite side of what you're looking at, right?
Yeah.
If you want to look right, point left. If you want to look right,
thank you for telling me. Yeah. This guy here would have gone on and given Timber the biggest blowjob and compared him to every Arsenal player and say he was better.
Totally, because I did that for Bergwijn, I did that for Emerson Royale.
That's what you do.
I did that for all of the Spurs players. I did that for Oliver Skip.
Somehow,
if you watch my channel, if you watch this channel over the last 2 years,
Will Stewart slammed Brian Hill when we signed him. He
before he
slammed
even put pen
well
to
done.
paper.
Well done that he slammed one player.
What I'm saying is he looks at data.
Emerson Royale. Brian Hill.
Well,
I even criticized Vicario, and I was wrong.
Okay. You have come out with statements.
I am not somebody who just happy claps our players.
No, that's what you do. No, you clap your players when you compare them to Arsenal.
You do that.
You said,
I don't.
Wait. You made statements.
This is
like saying
Alex's
Rice is the same level as Højbjerg.
You started this.
I'm sorry?
Rice is the same level as Højbjerg.
Yeah.
That's what you said.
Yeah.
That's what you
at West
said.
Ham. Yes. At West Ham.
Please don't give me this shit that you're unbiased and that you don't clap your players. You came on.
No. You're misunderstanding.
You came on.
I said Højbjerg was shit.
Okay.
And he's as shit as Declan Rice was at West Ham.
No,
that's my point. I'm not bigging him up.
No, of course.
I'm chopping him down.
Declan Rice. And then you came on and said Bissouma is better than Partey or Declan Rice after a 7-game spell. Now you've shut the fuck up about that because Bissouma has been dog shit for 2 months.
Declan Rice has been better. I'll tell you. Declan Rice has been more consistent, right? And in a league run, in a league table, consistency is going to be better than peaks and lows. But Bissouma, on his day, is better than Declan Rice could hope to be.
Well, I'm going to ask you, if you have so many better players than all of Arsenal's best players, Romero is better than Saliba. Bissouma's better.
No, we don't agree about that. We don't agree about that.
Wait. Why did you fucking finish 8th then? Why didn't you challenge for if all of your best players are better than our key players? Why did you finish
the same
8th?
reason we finished above you for the last 7
Connor,
years?
you've walked into it. Connor, you've walked into it. Man.
Oh, I missed this.
The same reason why we finished above you for the last 7 years,
Go back to the cinema.
Shit sticks, and before that, we finished above you for 20 plus years. Okay. So don't use that argument.
Can I make the bench speak, please?
You were better than us.
To battle each other, man. You need to move you two, honestly.
Years that we finished above you, we were better than you.
Well, out of those 6 years, for 4 years, we were shit. Well done that you finished above us,
we were
man.
better than you. That's what I'm saying. And this season, we will finish above you because we're better than you.
But Will, that doesn't make that we're a great team, by the way. We're not a great team, by the way. But the main event needs to be
better than them. Listen to the words coming out of my mouth. We were better than them.
Okay. At the end of the year,
doesn't mean we're good.
And then you can
be better than them.
Can that main event speak? Then you can have your round 3, and then Connor can speak. You know what I mean? Because I need to make some points here. Yeah. Can I just say this? Can I just say this, Stefan? Can I just say this, Stefan? Now I'm even getting a cough now. My point is,
if anybody's offering.
My point is, you're making the point, that you're making excuses for your players that are not playing well this season. Saka, Martinelli, Partey, who's injured all the time, The problem is with Arsenal, last season, no one expected you to be fighting for the title last season.
Exactly.
That was the problem. And now people are starting to take note. You need to be better this season. You're not. You're nowhere near. You're nowhere near. And now you find yourselves bottom of the pile at the moment. Yeah. And believe me, Tottenham are going to get their time, by the way, next season. They'll get their time next season. Because I'll tell you right now, we're not doing ourselves a favour getting Champions League this season, because then we need to do better. And what is the record of Tottenham doing better the following season when we've done good?
You're not
getting good. You know what I mean? But my point is, Arsenal at the moment are finding themselves thinking, well, we think we're that good. Well, Martinelli's shown right now that he can't make himself better now. Yeah,
I
he
didn't say
performed well
that.
last season. He performed well last season. He has not got better, and now you see right now he can't cope. He can't cope with the
Alex,
pressure.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that Arsenal's front three. I just get annoyed at the fact that Will continuously says Spurs have better players than Arsenal and all of that. Yet they expect Arsenal to challenge for the league, and Spurs can just be
nobody
good
expects
vibes.
Arsenal. Nobody expects
No,
Arsenal
no.
to challenge for the league.
Well,
Who expects Arsenal to
a
challenge
lot
for the
of
league?
people do.
Who?
Well, a lot of
Because
people.
I'm the one that
unlike you. But
What smart pundit?
it's fine because we challenged for the league
Which
last
smart
year.
pundit? Where did Gary Neville say we would finish this season? Did he say you guys are going to challenge for the league?
He said
You
we'd
like
win
to
the
bring
league.
him up a lot.
He said we'd win the league. You chose the wrong pundit again to be a smartass.
He literally just said you'll be lucky to make top 4, and then Tottenham will finish above Liverpool this season. What are you talking about?
He thinks that Spurs could, if they reach their potential this year, finish ahead of Liverpool and Arsenal. Again, don't talk
Gary
shit.
Neville's washed. I wouldn't listen to Gary Neville. He's washed. I
And
wouldn't
people that
even
know
listen
your
to him.
shit and that know your bullshit.
Want me to pull up the
And at
quote?
the start
Because
of the
that's not what he
season-
said.
At the start of the season, Gary Neville predicted that Arsenal will win the league, and then he
because nobody's kicked the
doubled
ball
down
yet.
on that. So you
Just
chose
the
the
same way
wrong
that I
pundit.
predicted we'd get 86 points in June before we'd even signed a
No,
player.
well, I don't want any sort of smart ass when you don't finish third, huh? I don't want any of this.
Don't worry, we will. So I'm not worried about it.
I was looking at points per game, and I took into account that if we had no injuries, because that happens, teams don't have
we've got injuries
for the
now,
full
and I'm still
season.
saying we'll
gonna
finish
be
above
a
you.
smartass about it and not look embarrassing because I was off by 30 points.
Stefan,
Yeah,
I don't shriek.
okay.
I don't shriek from things that I say. I don't run from them. I don't hide from them.
Well, you do because
Right?
you have
I
smart ass
don't.
arguments as to why you said it.
Right? I don't.
Yeah.
Right?
You do.
I was
can you just
wrong
get them
about
to a
scoring
show?
86
Can you
points.
just get them
But
to a
at the
show?
time when I did it, it
This
was
is your
June,
fault, Alex.
and I told you why.
You start.
You can reject that and keep honing on it because that's the only thing I've been wrong about. You don't mention the time
you've been wrong about?
You don't mention the
only
time. Name another thing.
Give you another thing.
Yeah.
What movie did you watch?
Kulusevski is gonna become a better player than Saka.
Movie
How
called
does
One
that
Life
look?
with Anthony Hopkins.
I never said that.
You
I never said
Really good, really
Kulusevski
good, really
would
good.
become a better
No,
player
think
than,
about it. Whoa.
than
Think about it first, and then say it again,
Huh?
please.
All right,
Well,
but let's
I
get back to some points.
never
Let's get back to some
said
points.
Check it out.
Kulusevski would
Look.
become a
Fuck this
better
argument.
player
Well,
than
let's-
Bukayo
let's-
Saka.
Okay.
We
this
should
is-
run a Will v Stefan
This is
show,
not a
and then
Will
that can go on for like
versus
10
Stefan show.
hours
I'm sorry,
a day.
guys.
That'd be
I'm
great.
sorry.
Connor,
I just wanna
Connor, you
apologize.
just come in.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard of Stefan's view of the current state of Arsenal. I want to get yours before we get to the current state of Spurs because we've made some transfer news. What is your view of Arsenal right now? And do you guys still believe maybe you guys can win the league?
First of all, thanks for having me on. I've literally only got like 5 minutes, and I've got to be on Sarcasm City TV with Flawless. So
I wish I only
I
had
will say-
5 minutes here.
I will say my piece. I'll say my piece real quick. I don't believe we're going to win the league this year. I didn't believe we were going to win it come start of the season. Really, I did that, but I did at the start. But then I've seen our form, recently. This last 7 matches, only over the 8 matches, 7 matches, only 1 win. We're not good right now. And me and Stefan did the show yesterday. And it was a pretty good show. Check it out, by the way. Little self plug. But I don't believe we're going to move anywhere forward this season in terms of challenging for a title if they don't bring in a striker, which is obviously not going to happen at this point because we're already 18 days into the January transfer window and nothing's happened. So at this point, it's probably just going to be a fight for top 4. Listen, there's nothing stopping me from saying maybe we could beat Porto, but I don't think we will get anywhere past the quarterfinals. The problem is, right, listen, don't get me wrong. I can't remember how many points far off we were from compared to last season. I know I think there's a bit of a difference, but someone can fact check me on that.
I think we're on. Last season we were on 51 points. I think at the start.
Okay, so 6 points. So
now we're on 42. I think
45 now. We're on 45.
Oh, yeah,
now,
so we're 6 or 7 points off. I think.
Yeah, so it's not like people call it a crisis. I wouldn't call it a crisis at Arsenal right now. I think it's just a position that needs fulfilling desperately. We've got 2 people up in the number 9 position, one who should have been gone ages ago and they didn't get here, and another one who I think is playing in the wrong position. I think Gabriel Jesus should be a winger for Arsenal. I don't believe he should be even a centre forward for Arsenal. I think his creativity lies more on the wing, and we all know his final product really isn't great, and he hasn't really been reliable that much for Arsenal this season. So for me, honestly, the only way I can see us really fighting, if we want to fight for that Premier League, is buying a striker. But I don't see it happening. So I think it's probably going to be a ride or die for top four. I could see. I definitely.
What about Benzema, Connor? Do you think Arsenal can get Benzema? There's been a lot of rumours today, or is it all just
40 million?
So we tried to get we've tried to get Benzema for about 20 we've tried to get Benzema for about 10 years now, and we still haven't managed to get him.
I'll just ask you a direct question, yeah?
Go for it, man. Go for it, Alex.
Right. If Arteta doesn't win a decent trophy this season, do you sack him at the end of the season?
That's my view, yes. Me and Stefan went a bit back and forth on it, but that's my view, yeah, because it's so long now.
That's now 5 years now. 5 years now.
Yes, it's so long now. And I see managers like Hansi Flick and Mourinho, and I'm just thinking, just give them a shot. Why not? Just and I understand. And we had
Germany. You would go for Jose Mourinho, Connor?
No,
I'd take anyone for some form of trophy, Mari. At this point, anyone. Because honestly, listen.
The reason why I asked that is right. You got your Saka, you got a Martinelli, you got Saliba, right?
Yeah.
They're sitting there thinking, okay, it's been 4 years now. Yeah, what have I got? Because this is what Tottenham was saying under Pochettino, by the way. This is what they were saying under Pochettino. So if we're going to be fair, right, and I'm not doing it because I like Pochettino. By the way, I said I need to convince about Pochettino as well. By the way, so I'm not being hypocritical there. By the way, right. So if we're going to say this about Pochettino, right?
Speak to Stella about Poch. Speak to Stella about Poch. He's doing really well.
If we're going to say that about Pochettino, we should be saying that about Arteta right now because he's had a lot of time. He's had a lot of time. I think the embarrassment is, but Stefan, let me speak. The embarrassment is with Arteta, right? And I'm saying this, and I don't even like Postecoglou. Yeah, I'm still not convinced by him. Yeah, Postecoglou went to the Emirates and he absolutely bantered you out the building. Yeah. It looked like Arteta didn't know what he was doing tactically wise. Yeah, he looked like an amateur compared to Postecoglou. Yeah, that was embarrassing for me.
Yeah. You know what was embarrassing?
A guy that's only been in the Premier League for just.
Now, listen, real talk, yeah, Alex. To answer your question, yeah, because I've got to shoot off in a minute. Arsenal, I don't believe. Listen, I don't think we're going to win major honours under Mikel Arteta. I will thank. Listen, I'm not going to completely rinse Mikel Arteta because I don't think he's a bad manager. I actually, for all the the stick that the Arteta out fans get, and from some other people, and some of it can be justified. But at the end of the day, he's not a terrible manager. You can say yes, he progressed us in terms of league status every single season, but it comes to a point where you're managing a club of this stature. You can't just accept top four every season. And listen, people can say, "Oh, but you did that under Wenger." Yeah, but Wenger actually had the reason because he won the major honours. And I get Arteta's, not had the 20, 25 odd years that, that Wenger had and all this kind of stuff. But it comes to a point where we haven't won a major honour in 20 plus years. We want to move on as a club. Mikel Arteta's, changed the what's it called again? Change the structure of the club, change the vibe, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, fair enough. The fans are a lot better than what they were like 5 years ago. There's a lot more togetherness. I get that. He's signed some good couple players. He signed some crap players, don't get me wrong. But there's some that he signed that's really built this team together, and he's actually made a somewhat decent squad out of it because we competed for a title last season. But it comes to a point where it's like, do you know what? Thanks, Mikel, but we're going to move on from you now. Listen, thanks for what you've done. We appreciate it, but it's time to go now. This is your first managerial job. You've done an all right job. You've won it a trophy, in your first season. You completely surprised everyone by that. But now it's just time to move on from it, and let's get someone else in. Because all I'm going to say is give someone like I could name any professional manager that's done the job more than 20 years. Give them this amount of money, give them this amount of time, and I guarantee they'd win you a major honour 8 times out of 10. Do you think
you've moved on from Arsene Wenger? When you let go of Arsene Wenger, right? When you thought he was going still, right? Do you think you've moved on to another place with Arteta? Has he brought you on from that point on?
I can understand to a point where people are saying, because me and Stefan talked about it yesterday. I do believe the point of where I think he's changed the sort of culture around the club. I think there's a lot more, you could say, togetherness that there wasn't when Wenger was at the end of Wenger's tenure. There was a lot of divide. And listen, there's divide now there's always going to be divide between fan bases, right?
Yeah.
But it does seem a bit more connected and together. But you've got to understand that this guy isn't going to be around forever. And I think a lot of Arsenal fans, I don't really understand it, have got a lot of sentimental towards this guy. I don't understand it. For me, I sort of get the vibe like it's Arteta or it's no one. Like no one else. Listen, 2 seconds, Stefan, because I do have to hop off. But to finish my question, to finish the answer to what Mari was saying, I don't believe we're going to win a trophy this season. If Arteta doesn't win a trophy, I said it last season because we actually challenged for a title, and I thought, you know what? I'll give him one more season off that. We're not going to win the title, in my opinion. I don't believe it.
Challenge, but Connor, last season, so we challenged when we weren't expected to, and you give him one season after we challenged, expecting him to win. So he fast forwarded a process which most fans in a way didn't expect, but now you give him only. I just want to ask you, in the latter years of Wenger,
Ange has done it in 6 months.
What? Yeah. Ange hasn't.
Yeah,
Listen,
but it's only 2 minutes.
Unai Emery's done it Unai Emery's got them in a title race in a year and a half. That's what I'm saying. In my opinion, he shouldn't be here anymore. We need to move on, get someone experienced in. Jose Mourinho. If we want Jose Mourinho, I'll take Jose Mourinho. We need to win honours. We need to win honours at this.
Yeah, but with 2 minutes, though,
wait,
Bob.
let me
I've got a bounce.
I've
got a bounce.
Big up Connor, by the way. Big up Connor, by the way.
Wait, Alex, let me just
what's
ask
your channel? Tell people the name of your channel.
Oh, my channel, CMO, on YouTube. Just type in CMO. I'm running it, not just an Arsenal channel. It's like I'm talking everything. I'm going to do a Spurs section soon to get you guys all on. Just type CMO into YouTube. It should come up. Stefan, I've literally got to go. I'm on another show right now.
Just 1 minute.
Connor, do me a favor. Put a link in the private chat so I can put it on the stream.
All right, we'll do, bro. We'll do.
Yeah, Connor, just give me 1 minute. I just want to ask you one thing. In the latter years of Wenger, when there was a massive divide, were you Wenger out or Wenger in?
Can I be so honest?
I'm actually intrigued by this.
Can I be completely honest? When it came towards the end of Wenger's tenure, I wasn't even like fully committed to Arsenal at that point because I was so young. But I was, because obviously I didn't live through the Invincibles and all this kind of stuff. I was just bloody born. But the way I saw it, the way I saw it, Arsenal weren't in a good place. We weren't in the position we were a set amount of years ago, which we still aren't now. Okay. It was time to move on, and we're in the same situation now.
I'll be honest. I was Wenger in. I was worried about what happens after Wenger.
Unai, all I'm going to say is my last words. If we had Unai Emery now, we'd have won a major honour. That's all I'm going to say. With all this money and time, that's all I'm going to say. Cheers, guys. Take care.
Big up Connor, bruv. Big up Connor, bruv. He didn't shirk away the questions, you know. Big up to him, bruv, you know.
No, it's just.
I want to get to transfer.
Connor never does.
I'll ask you a question. If Arsenal this season, right, we don't know what's going to happen, right? So this is a hypothetical. If Arsenal finish 5th and drop out of the Champions League next season, is that a sackable offence?
Yeah, I honestly, if we finish outside of the Champions League places, yes, I would say his position needs to come into question. I don't know if it's a sackable offence.
Would you sack him?
In terms of if they drop out of the Champions League, it would be a really. I would honestly, you guys know how much I've defended him, but I would say dropping out of the Champions League of the places would be a sackable. Would pause. I don't know. I would need to sit down and look at Arsenal. Depends on the context. Like if we get terrible injuries, for example. Wait. Depends on the context. Like if we get like our whole like the way Liverpool when they last season when they finished 5th, like. No lots and lots of injuries. Just kind of miss out. Then if I look at it and say, look, we cannot regress from this point. We spend this amount of money. Yes, if there's no major kind of reason that was out of Arteta's control, then yes, I would probably be inclined to sack him. So but if we finish, I think we're gonna reach at least the semifinals. I really do in the Champions League. I think. The only teams that worry me that even I watch Bayern Munich, I'm not like in terms of I think we can definitely beat Bayern Munich. Like
Harry Kane will cook you, bro. Harry Kane will cook you, man. He's the one guy that always cooks you. He does, man. That's the one team I wouldn't want if you.
He's never wanted the Emirates, but okay. That's
it's two legs. It's two legs. If you
who's never wanted the Emirates?
Bayern Munich have cooked you twice.
Never won in the league at the Emirates. Well, You haven't won in the
Munich have
Emirates since 2010, I think.
Bayern Munich have cooked you twice. They've put 5 goals past you twice.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. When we were shit still. Again, poor
You
context.
still are.
Yeah, what did Stelios want to ask? What did Stelios ask?
If you get to the semi-final of the Champions League and lose, and then you finish 5th, is that sackable then?
If we get to the Champions League final.
No, semi-final. You lose the semi-final, and then you finish 5th in the league.
No, I still think it's a sackable offense because you can get to the Champions League semi.
So it doesn't matter what you do in the Champions League. Then that's irrelevant as long as you don't finish.
For me, we have to, in order for us to maintain our progression, we need to be in the Champions League because it allows us to sign top players. And
Can I just ask you, Stefan, by what your logic you just said, that's no different to Arsene Wenger then. So you're just going back to Arsene Wenger days then?
No, we're not going back. I'm not saying we're going back to Arsene Wenger days.
Well, yeah, because Arsenal under Arsene Wenger, by your logic, finish finish in the top 4 most of the time, and just got FA Cups as a just a something else. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay.
And you now you're saying that 4th now keeps Arteta at his job because he gets better players, which is a load of rubbish, by the way, for me. You know what I mean? Because regardless whether you get Champions League or not, it shouldn't be determining whether you get a good player or not.
I agree.
I still lost to Bayern Munich.
Okay, I told you. I watched him. I've watched him a number of times. Go watch the Bayern Munich game. Speak to Steve. He's a big Bayern fan. They lost 4-1 to Frankfurt at home. Wait, at home they lost 4-1 to Frankfurt. Before that, they got knocked out by Saarbrücken. Don't get me wrong, they have quality players. But I really think we could, in the Champions League, teams will not play the same way that they always do against Arsenal. We'll have chances. I'm not saying we're going to destroy them or definitely beat them. But I am not going into the game thinking we're going to get beat 5-1 like we did under Wenger. No chance whatsoever. So for me, let's see. And the other good thing is the Arsenal are underrated, I would say, in the Champions League in terms of people don't think we can do anything. So that's also a positive.
Porto. But I wouldn't be worried about Porto.
I mean, they're 4th or 5th in the Portuguese league. I haven't checked. They're not doing very well this year. So if we can't beat Porto, then I don't know. They're not.
You should be very disappointed in your Arsenal side, by the way. I think you should be very disappointed in your Arsenal side, by the way, because the thing is, though, they should have been better this season. Should have been better this season. It's a bang average league this season. It's a bang average league this season. I still stick by it because the teams are underperforming.
It's always bang average. It's always bang average.
It is though. It is because people are underperforming this season. 100%, 110%. Because we should be nowhere near the league, right? After watching that Man United game, that was the worst Man United side, and we're going to get to Tottenham in a bit, but that was the worst Man United side I've seen in years. I agree. And we were awful. We were awful. The only player that looked decent was Bentancur, and I've been calling him a reject. What does that say to you? And Udoji.
Okay, but
that's
it. Other than that, I'll say that at the moment you should be after Man City, right? And I'll give them an excuse. They won the treble last season. Won the treble last season. You can put your hands in your hands all you want. I'm talking truth, which you couldn't do on TV earlier 2 years ago. By the way, you just chatted absolute nonsense. No, it's not waffle, Will. It's truth, and you just think it's better than your stats, which are so boring. The point I'm making is no, it's truth, Will. And you just need to learn. You just need to learn. My point is, no, I'm not going to stop. I'm not stopping. You can stop me all I want. I've been benching lots of times, bruv. So I'm not
you embarrass yourself lots of times.
No, I'm not embarrassing myself, bruv. No, Will. Don't take a fight that you can't handle, bruv. My point is, right, is that. And the point is, Arsenal should have done better this season with Man City when Man City have didn't done well this season at the beginning of the season. Man City gave them a chance
last year.
They gave them a chance this season. They gave them a chance. And Arsenal didn't take it. Yeah, and they're gonna flop this season. It looks like this season. Yeah,
Alex,
I'm sorry, that's on Arteta. That is on Arteta because. If you're going to tell me if you're going to say that this is the best league for the best managers, why is Arteta not getting them up there? I'm sorry, and that's it. Sorry, and that's what I'm going to say.
When is the last time Arsenal challenged for the league? Tell me, truthfully, when is the last time?
Arsenal...
this question. Answer me this question. When is the last time Arsenal challenged for the league?
13, 14, or 14, 15?
No, they didn't.
Last season.
They didn't. They truly challenged for the league in 07-08 when we were first.
Last season you challenged, no?
We finished second.
Yeah, I mean,
like
in terms
14.
of I mean, last season we challenged because we were first until March, April. I'm talking about is a sustained challenge. So,
you mean was the last time you bottled it? Hold on, let me tell you.
Okay. Well, you know.
I
At least I've actually seen my team win a league. Well, unlike you. You have to speak to your granddad probably.
20 years. 20 years.
But okay, forget that. But I'm saying
I don't think you did see the last time you saw it.
We truly because people will say, under Wenger in 15, 16 or 16, 17. No, because we were first from like September until like Christmas, and then we dropped off completely. So I wouldn't call that a challenge for the league. In those like
that's
15,
just
16.
ducking out of it, Stefan.
No, but I'm telling you,
that's
this
just
is
ducking out of it.
Last year was the first time we truly challenged for the league since 07-08 with the Eduardo leg break in April, which we completely capitulated after that leg break, where we were, I think, 4 points ahead of Man United in, I think it was the start of April. So that's what I mean. So we haven't truly challenged for the league since 07-08. Last year was the first time we have, and it was because of Arteta, because of the team that he comprised of. So this season, yes, it has been disappointing, but he overachieved in a way last year, because last year some people weren't even putting us in the top 4, let alone almost winning the league, bottling the league.
You still have to take your opportunities, though, Stefan. When you get your opportunity,
Alex,
you need to just smack it and take it. That's the point.
I agree, Alex. I agree.
That's the point. And the problem is, like I said before, you're making excuses because the fact is you should have got better like season. When you've done well, you've got to get better. And unfortunately, Arteta has not taken the opportunity to get better. Yeah, and that's why you're struggling this season.
I think that's a very, how should I say, black and white kind of very.
No, it's not black and white. It's the truth.
No,
it's not the truth. No, the reason why you're saying that is because I'm not putting stats in front of you, and I don't care about stats. I'm going about history. I'm going about history because stats don't make no difference, Will, in my opinion. Because the point is, if you're going to talk about stats and what's on paper, people say that it doesn't work on paper. My point is, the only thing that matters about stats is wins and losses and trophies, and that's it. And you avoid that question all day long, and that's it. My point is,
rambling. I'm not
rambling. I'm making my point because Will says I'm talking waffle when he's talking that
you are talking waffle.
You're not talking.
No, you're not.
Will, you're talking,
literally everything you said is completely incorrect.
No, it's not waffle, Will. It's not waffle. What is waffle? What is waffle? Let's have it out now, then, Bob. Let's have it out now, Bob.
Let's have it out then.
You're talking waffle. You said that, boy. Come on, let's have it now. Let's have it now. Let's have it now, then, Bob.
Alex, statistic? Let me answer you. Will, please don't argue with him about this. Like, just let him be. Let me answer you. What I'm saying that it's a basic argument is because last season Arsenal had this when they were pretty much from February onwards, they had pretty much one game a season. Even in the Europa League, our Europa League group was extremely weak. This season we have Champions League football where we pretty much have to play a strong team every 3 days.
First time in 6 years.
Yes, first time in 6 years. Yes. So then in terms of the team have never experienced Champions League in terms of playing every 3 days, the experience of it, how to manage that. So that takes a little bit of kind of getting used to that. I think that's been the main reason as to our downturn of form, which is playing Champions League football, playing Premier League. Whilst in the Europa League, we would play with our B team for most of those group games, and we would win those games. In the Champions League,
except you got knocked out by fourth finishing Sporting.
Yes,
and yet you think you can handle a fourth finishing Porto.
The same team that beat your ass again.
No, we knocked them out.
You're such an idiot.
No. We knocked
them
out in the Champions League.
They beat you in Portugal, right? Will. They beat you in Portugal.
They didn't beat us in London.
Okay, well done.
And
they drew those, didn't they?
We topped our group. They got knocked down to Europa League. Don't act like they.
You topped your group.
Two clubs.
We did.
Clubs that have won fuck all in 3 years arguing over who's better.
Don't play like Sporting knocked you out of Europa League.
One club has won fuck all in 30 years. Another club hasn't won in a decade or so. 50
You haven't won
major honors. That's the difference.
2 decades.
Don't put Arsenal in the same bracket as Spurs.
We are in the only thing is though, you're a little bit better than us because you've done better than us. That's it.
They're not a little bit better
and
than
the only
us.
reason why
They are below us.
the only reason why Tottenham fans are getting high is because they're getting overhyped about Postecoglou.
That's your
Let's be
whole
honest.
point.
Yeah,
Good
because
vibes.
the only guy that's actually spoken truth about this was the guy from South Newquay's GOAT, who was speaking so much truth.
He's a Liverpool
big up
fan.
to that show, by the way,
He's a
rival show.
Liverpool fan.
Big up to Asthmatic and Has, by the way, because that's a great show, by the way. That got real people talk truth. Sorry, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but sorry,
Alex, which team's better, the team that finished second or the team that finished 8th and won an FA Cup?
Hold on, I was on that show, and when I said to go the Liverpool fan, right?
You're such a loser.
When your
the team that finished second, no cups, is better than the team that finished 8th and won an FA Cup.
With the FA Cup.
What did you say? Them two are terrible.
Are you serious? As a Spurs fan, you would rather finish second than win a trophy after 16 years of winning fuck all?
It's not what I said. Again, you're changing the argument. I said that on the year, the team that finishes second over 38 games is a better team than the team who finished 8th and won a FA Cup, which is 6 games. It's a fact. 38 games in the league is more difficult. It is more difficult to get second than it is to finish 8th and win an FA Cup.
You could be 15th and
you could be non-league and win the FA Cup. You're still not as good of a team as Manchester City.
That is true.
You still win a trophy.
I'm not talking about winning a trophy. I asked which team is better.
Okay, well, so by that logic then, if we apply it to, let's say, the NFL, the team doesn't have the best record that wins the Super Bowl. But by your logic, then the team that had the most regular season wins is the best team. Then fuck the NBA championship.
That's different.
Completely different situation.
Nobody's making an argument here.
But even still, yes. Look, if the Kansas City Chiefs have the best record in the NFL, right?
They had a
and
shit
for
record
some
this
reason,
year.
hold on, and for some reason, in a one-off game with the Bengals, they lose the AFC Championship. Does that mean the Bengals are a better team than the Chiefs? It doesn't. It means they won one game that put them in the Super Bowl. It does not mean that they're a better team than the Kansas City Chiefs. The quality of the team is the competition and the level at which they perform over time.
Well,
this is the way in all sports.
Yeah, the
lesser team can win the title in a playoff situation in the NBA, in the Major League Baseball, in the NFL, and even in the Premier League when you come to domestic cups. The best team over time is the table. That's why there is no playoffs in English football.
Well, who's gonna remember? Let me just answer.
Leicester won the FA Cup. Were they a better team than Chelsea? Now they had a better season, right? Because they got a trophy, and I agree with you. I want that trophy.
Better season.
But they're not a better team than Chelsea.
They weren't a better team.
They were a better team than Chelsea.
So but who's gonna remember that, guys? Like you just used the Kansas City Chiefs. So the Bengals could go 15-2 in the league, lose in the playoffs, while the Chiefs go through the card playoffs with a 9-7 record and win the Super Bowl. Who's gonna give a shit that the got a 15-2 record 3 years later? Well, who's gonna give a shit?
Me.
Yeah, you, because you're weird.
I'm not weird.
People care about championships, Will.
It's not weird.
People, like how do you really
what
think?
Championship has Arsenal won in the last 20 years? What championship? What title has Arsenal won in the last 20 years?
We haven't won a league, but we've won.
So don't talk to me about you won championships. You've won domestic cups, which are the best of nothing.
Yes.
You were the best of nothing in the last 20 years.
Yes. So then, by that logic, you're nothing, then, right?
Yes, we have been the best of nothing over the past 60 years.
You haven't been the best of anything because you haven't won even the best of nothing in 15 years. So you haven't.
That doesn't even make sense.
It does, because you just said that we're the best of nothing, and you said we're also the best of nothing. No,
yes,
because
won neither of us have been the best at anything over the last 20 years.
Well, we have the highest amount of FA Cups.
You're
in
not
English-
the
You never
best
won. You
at
never won
anything.
14. You never won 14 FA Cups in the last 10 years, Stefan.
Yeah, we've won the most. There's no other team in the last 20 years
Yeah,
that
but
has
you
won
never
more
won
FA
the
Cups
most.
than
You
Arsenal.
never won the most over a 10-year period. You've done that over 100 years, right? Let's have it right. If you look
Okay.
from the last time you won the league title, 2004 to now, so 20 years.
20 years
In
ago.
20
Yeah.
years, in 20 years, you've won 4 or 5 FA Cups. Spurs have won 1 Carabao Cup. So there's no question of a doubt. Arsenal have been, because someone blocked that guy in the chat who's spamming, right? You have definitely been more successful than Spurs, but in the grand scheme of things, in terms of big club behavior, you have not been a big club for 20 years because you haven't won a European trophy and you haven't won the league.
John was saying,
Right?
Okay.
And you haven't won the league. We're not a big club either because we've won nothing other than the
that's why I
Carabao
said
Cup.
we're on the same level.
You're
I know-
only a big club.
I know
You're
you
only
get
a big
people to
club
say
if
that.
you win in Europe.
No, we're not on the same level.
Chelsea,
Chelsea,
Liverpool,
City,
no, there's only 3.
Liverpool.
No, don't put Liverpool. Don't
Yes.
put Liverpool. Liverpool
Why?
only
They
in
won
the
the
last.
Champions League and the league.
They
Exactly.
only in the
Liverpool
last.
done it.
Only in the last
Liverpool done it.
5 years.
Liverpool
Wait.
done it.
They
Only
ran
in
a
the
point.
last.
They
Wait.
finished below Man City by 1 point twice, won the
I
Champions
don't
League and
care.
won the league, dude.
Nobody cares, Will. Nobody cares because in
Mr.
10 years nobody's
Cup
gonna
guy,
know.
Cup guy, where's my cups at? Or
They've
FA
won
Cup,
the
Champions
Europe-
League,
they've
combine
won
them. How many
the-
FA Cups
Well,
equals one
first of all,
Champions
last-
League?
First of all, Liverpool have been successful over the last 6 years. What were they before those 6 years?
They won a Champions
That's
League under Rafa
60% of
Benitez.
the last
Yeah,
10
they won-
years,
they
you
won-
freaking
they won-
goofball.
They won a Champions League under
Yes,
Rafa
they
Benitez.
won a. But wait,
No
but they won a
6.
Champions
Last
League.
20 years, they've won 2 Champions
Wait, but
Leagues. dude.
still,
Won
but here's the
Champions
thing.
League in 20 years.
Here's Will shouldn't acknowledge that Champions League because the year they won that
Why?
Champions League, they finished 5th in the league that year.
But they won the Champions League. Who cares?
And they won the Champions League.
It's the
But
Champions
It's a cup
League.
competition, huh?
It's not
A year-
a 6-game
sorry,
competition
sorry,
that
sorry,
everyone
Will.
qualifies
Look,
for,
Right,
Stefan.
sorry,
And the
guys. Sorry,
people
sorry.
on.
Mari, sorry, stop. The year you won the FA Cup with Arteta, you finished 8th. So take that shit back.
Okay, but we won previous
No,
FA Cups.
no.
We finished
You
second,
can't
third.
use that argument. You can't use that argument when you finished 8th.
No,
You
I'm
won
not
the-
using. I'm not. I think that argument is bullshit. I'm just reversing the argument to Will because he
I
said.
didn't make that argument.
Yes,
No,
you
right
did.
now,
You said
if
you
you
said
win the
finishing
Champions
second.
League,
Right
It's
now,
better
I
than
said the
finishing 8th
team
and
that
winning
is
an FA Cup.
better. No, I said the
City,
team that is better.
Liverpool, and
The team that finishes second in the league is
Okay.
better than a team that finishes 8th and
So,
wins an FA
wait,
Cup.
so wait, so
That's
you're
what I
saying.
said.
wants to be there, but
Okay,
they're not.
wait. So
there.
you're saying.
It's
Wait.
Chelsea, City,
you're-
and Liverpool right now.
Wait.
Those
So
Was
you're
Liverpool
saying-
better than
those are-
City the year that they won the
those are the
Champions
big
League?
three right
No.
And,
No,
and
they
Chelsea,
weren't.
And Chelsea and Man United, because Man United won a league title in 2013. They won a Europa
wait.
Cup under Jose.
Alright,
Chelsea
you
won
put
2
United
Champions
there.
League.
No, let me wait, Mark.
They are
so
big
by that
clubs.
logic, Will, by that
Arsenal
logic,
haven't been a big club for 20 years, man. Facts. They haven't. You haven't been a big club for 20 years, bro. You haven't.
Yeah, the truth
haven't.
is, we're not a big club.
No,
We haven't been a big
Just
club for
makes me
about
laugh when
40
Spurs
years.
fans say it.
Arsenal has not been.
It's been
Arsenal
40
has
years
not
for
been there
Spurs.
the last
We won
20
the
years.
UEFA Cup in
You haven't
84.
been a big club since the 60s, Stel.
84.
No, we won a European with 2
Yeah,
European
you
trophies.
won a
one in
European
70s
trophy and
80s.
finished 8th that year when you won the European
but-
trophy.
We won a European trophy, Stefan. So it's
Okay,
40 years. 40
But
years.
it's
Win a
obsolete
Win a
based on
European
this
trophy,
guy's
then come
argument.
back and talk to us,
Four-
Stefan. Go
40
win a
years.
European trophy,
We
then come
have.
back and
We
talk
won
to
a
us.
European trophy more recently than you have. Again,
40 years.
read up,
40
Will.
years.
Read
40
up.
years.
Okay,
You won the
Stefan.
Cup Winners' Cup, right?
Cup
Yes,
Winners'
it's
Cup.
a
40 years.
European
A
trophy.
Cup Winners'
That's
Cup
the-
when the UEFA
yes.
Cup was already
No.
running.
The Cup Winners'
Okay,
Cup
the
is the
Cup Winners'
equivalent
Cup
of the
has
European.
always been below
You have
the
to
UEFA
win
Cup.
the FA Cup,
Always.
Will.
The
You have
Cup Winners' Cup.
Oh, you've
The Cup Winners'
always been
Cup.
below
The
Spurs?
Cup
Is
Winners'
that why you
Cup.
have 20 plus
The
trophies
Cup Winners'
less than
Cup
us,
is the
Will?
equivalent of the European Conference League. Let's have it.
Exactly.
Okay.
What? The Cup
You-
Winners'
Yes.
Cup is the equivalent of the European
Yes.
Conference League.
Even
Yes.
at the
So you're
time,
wait, wait,
especially
so
in
you're
the
telling me-
90s.
So you're telling me the winners
Stefan.
of the FA
Stefan.
Cup, the Italian Cup, the
Stefan.
Copa del Rey is the equivalent of the Conference League?
Yeah, because
Yes.
lower
Back
teams
then,
like Wigan
really.
If you
can win
compare
it.
to
You
now
say
to then,
yourself.
yes. If you
So
compare
wait,
now
so
to then, yes.
when Arsenal won the Cup Winners' Cup, Barcelona won the Cup Winners' Cup.
Who did you beat in the
I
final?
think if I'm
Who
not
did you beat in the
mistaken, I
final?
think
Who did you beat
Milan.
in the final?
I think it was Galatasaray. I'm not
Exactly.
Exactly.
sure. Galatasaray in the 90s were not a great team.
Turkish team. Turkish teams don't ever do anything in Europe, dude.
Are you
Same as Greek
Galatasaray?
When was the last time the Galatasaray got to a Champions League or Europa League final?
Teams. At the end of the day, look, Stefan, listen. I don't disagree that Arsenal haven't been better than Spurs. I'm not even arguing that. All I'm saying to you is, for the last 20 years, you have not been a big club. You have not. You haven't. For 20 years, you haven't.
In terms of
base, your fan base will always be one of the biggest fan bases in the world, from Africa to North America. Arsenal has a big club fan base.
Don't give them North America. There's less Arsenal fans in North America than there are Spurs fans.
Can I just say something?
It's a fact.
When it comes to output in the last 20 years,
no, it's not. You're like, you know who you are like? You're like Kellyanne Conway.
They literally track these things,
man. You live in a world
man.
of alternative facts.
They literally track these things.
Can I just say something? I don't agree with. I disagree with what Will says about the second team is a better team. But I hear what he's saying. I understand what he's saying, though. Yeah, the logic, what he says.
Please put Michael's comment. Right? Put Michael's comment on the thing.
The logic that
the Europa League. That's the equivalent of the UEFA Cup. Different competition.
That you praised for winning.
Different competition.
You just said Galatasaray were useless in Europe. They won a Europa League.
Yeah. Okay. Everyone shines once.
CSK
Moscow shines once.
Red Star Belgrade won the Champions League.
How many times have you won the Europa League?
Why are we arguing about specifics about who's won this and who's better than this? Who cares? What about recently?
Galatasaray is not a big club in the grand scheme of things. I don't care what they win. They're not.
How many Europa Leagues has Arsenal won?
No Turkish team is, no Greek team is, no Swedish team is. There's only 5 leagues in Europe that are respectful, where we can say they're proper clubs with proper teams.
Once in a while, you might get an anomaly. Arsenal won.
But let's have it right.
How many Europa Leagues has Arsenal won?
Galatasaray is not a big club still.
In Turkey, they are. In Europe, who are they?
Are we really arguing about this?
Okay. I mean, okay.
How many Europa Leagues has Arsenal won?
We haven't won any Europa Leagues.
How many Champions Leagues have you won?
The same amount as Spurs will.
Yeah, none, right?
Yeah.
So we won 2 Europa Leagues.
Yeah.
Look, can I Stefan,
talk to us about European
because he keeps talking major honors. How many league titles have you won? Well, because that's the main thing, right?
Stefan,
when's the last time you won a league title? Will?
1961.
Stefan, hear me out. No, stop this. This is nonsense, right? Hear me out. I'm older than you.
Didn't say we're a big club.
Stefan, I'm older than you, and I've seen this and I've lived it, right? In the 80s, there is no question of a doubt Spurs were better than Arsenal. Yeah. In the 90s, Arsenal ran riot. You won a European trophy, you won FA Cups, league titles, doubles. In the 90s, Arsenal behaved and showed they were a big club. But since then, I'm sorry, you have not been a big club. You haven't. The last 20 years, you haven't even come close. You haven't even come close to what your history is about.
That's not true.
Yes, no, you haven't come close to what your history is about.
No,
our Spurs haven't come close to what our history is about for 30 years. Right? So we're even
worse. You haven't won a league title for
20 years. The last 20 years, you have not been even close to what I know.
This is what I agree with Stel. I agree with Stel.
So basically, so you're applying the standards of the Invincibles, which is, I think that's what you're.
The standards of the Invincible. Another straw man.
Wait.
So you're applying reflection in straw man.
Stefan, your history.
I get it. Since
the last 20 years, the last 20 years doesn't even look like.
I agree. History. In terms of
the last 30 years for Spurs, doesn't look like anything in our history.
Since George Graham took over at Arsenal started becoming a big club. Would you say
you were a big club before then, Stefan?
No, in terms of
in the 30s,
2 league titles.
He kept you a big club. He kept you a big club.
Yeah, and then no, because
Wenger kept you a big club.
In the 80s, we were poor. Still, in the 80s, we were shit.
Look, let's have it right. Hold on. Let's have it right. Arsenal were good in the 30s. Arsenal were good in the 30s.
But we were kind of.
Then they had a spell where they won a couple times in the 80s and 90s, and that was it until Wenger. Right? Wenger made them relevant again.
Arsenal was big. We won 2 league titles, 2 FA Cups, and I think
Wenger kept you big.
Well,
yeah.
Again, man, have some fucking self-awareness, man.
I literally just said that, you freaking idiot.
No. You said you won some things as if winning 2 league titles, 2 FA Cups, and a League Cup.
You won a few leagues in the 80s and 90s, is what I said.
Stefan.
You didn't say it like that,
Let me
though,
just
but
say.
I
okay.
did exactly say it like that.
Will did say it like that, Bob. He did say it like that. I'm not because I don't want to just like because it's 4 against 1 here. It's not really fair. My point is, yeah,
it's fine.
I think Will's trying to say the point that what we've done and that's it. I don't think he's going on defending it. You know what I mean? He's just saying the facts of what's going on in the past. But
We won more trophies than you in the 80s and 90s.
Exactly, yeah. But it's just
Not
like
in the 90s.
Yes, we did.
In the 90s.
In the 90s,
Well,
Arsenal won
but
shit.
I'm talking total number of trophies. We won more trophies than they did.
But Stefan,
in the 90s, I went to school in tears, man. Arsenal ran riot.
You guys were a fucking shit show in the 90s,
we know.
man. You almost got relegated.
George Graham and Wenger in the 90s, they made my school days miserable, man.
Yeah,
you should just look it up. It's not
and I think
difficult
that's
to
the
do.
problem. That's the biggest in terms of maybe it's not a problem, but the standard that Arsenal set in those 90s and from Stell's generation, from maybe when I was young.
You won 2 FA Cups in the 90s.
No, I don't think the standard you set. I think
Wenger league titles. You won 2 in the 90s.
I think they won a European.
I'm talking about 2000s. I'm talking about the 90s.
We won a League Cup also. Well,
Wenger won the league in the 90s.
Yeah,
no, it was 97, 98 FA Cup.
98, he won the league. Stel, you
that was the second one.
Let me finish my point.
Arsene Wenger
tries to downplay Arsenal again and make himself feel better about Spurs.
Scouting, style of play, tactics, and nutrition. Wenger changed.
I'm saying Arsene Wenger did that. What I'm saying is that from 1950 to 1990,
Spurs is better. Can't wait for this. Spurs is better.
Arsenal only won 2 league titles in that 40-year period. 2 in 40 years.
Arsenal won most of their titles in the 30s during the war.
That's what I'm saying. 30s, they won it back-to-back. 30, 32, 33, 34, 37.
It was during the war. Teams were depleted. Arsenal
47, 48.
Stefan, they were. Teams were depleted.
No. You know what? You know what? We should, because they won it before the war, we should, first of all, 1932 and 3, that was not during the war. You know, people know their history a little bit. Teams weren't depleted.
1920s and the 40s, the world was in a very dark place.
World War I to World War II.
The world was in a dark place. Okay.
It was.
From 1933 to 37, there was no war, Stel. But okay, make yourself feel better.
No. There might not be actual war, but we were coming back and recovering from World War I. We were.
Okay.
We were in recovery. Don't forget we have prohibition. We have all sorts of things in the 30s.
If we're talking recent history, we've won 3 Premier League titles. You've won 0.
By the way, Stefan, I'm not dismissing what you won in the 30s. I'm not dismissing it. You still won it. But you still won it.
But you are saying like
you dismissed the United States semi-cup final in the 30s.
No. What I'm saying is you took advantage of a period where a lot of clubs were in a lot of trouble.
It's like saying it's the same. You can make the same argument about Wolves. Wolves won, I think, 2 league titles right after the Second World War.
Yeah, exact same argument.
Yeah, but it's unfair. They still won the league. Still,
even say I apply the same to Uruguay, who won World Cups and shit. It was a weird period in football during that era. But once clubs stabilized and they began to build stadiums, proper stadiums, invest in players, have academies, things like this, and football became more of the sport we're seeing today, I would say that Spurs and Arsenal were level. Stefan, if you go to 1992, before the Premier League began, Spurs had won more FA Cups than Arsenal, more European trophies than Arsenal,
more league cups
than Arsenal, but you'd won more league titles. There wasn't this big gap. But
that was it, Will?
Yes, that was it. The league title was the only one you had more than us.
Wait, hear me out. Spurs and Arsenal, go back and look. We were pretty level. What changed though was we went backwards under Sir Alan, even further under Levy. But during the 90s and the early 2000s, you blitzed it.
No,
and you completely pulled away. Completely pulled away from us.
No,
the last 20 years, Stefan, but the last 20 years, you haven't been that club.
No, you guys had that, I think, from the start of the 90s until
1992,
2003.
Shit.
Yeah, you had like an almost 15-year period where you almost went bankrupt. You almost got relegated a couple of times. I remember.
You had no ambition.
But the panel. But this is all part of Levy's plan, because we needed 23 years of disappointment and mediocrity So now we're in a perfect position because we are the FFP champions. Now
We won
Man
5
City's
trophies in
gonna
the
be
80s and
regulated.
90s.
Arsenal
Liverpool's
have
gonna be regulated. Chelsea's gonna be regulated. Everybody's gonna be regulated, leaving us behind, and we're gonna win Premier League.
Yeah, but Mari,
Cups in Arsenal in
Daniel
the 80s and
Levy's a
90s.
genius.
Well,
Daniel
you're a bigger
Levy's
club than
genius.
Arsenal. Don't
It's
worry.
not
You
what I
have more
said.
fans
It's
in
not
the
what I
US.
said.
Mr. Alternative Facts.
Not what I said.
That's
That's
what
not
I'm
what I
gonna
said.
call you.
I said we won more trophies than you did in the 80s and 90s, which is a fact.
And you say that, Stefan. FFP champions. Now, this is the time where we
FFP
are
champions. Why are you FFP champions? Because you signed a player for 25 million and a guy on
No,
loan. That's why you're FFP champions.
because we had a 23-year plan. Levy's a genius. Now,
Yeah, he is. I agree.
you know, we have to take 23 years of
Listen,
stuff.
what went wrong, Mari? What went wrong for Spurs and what went right for Arsenal was in the early 90s, Sir Alan Sugar took over the club, but he saved us financially. If it wasn't for him, we would have gone bankrupt. But he wasn't a football guy and he had no ambition of trophies. He then sold the club to the most savage of business people who had even less ambition, but saw an opportunity to make billions. And now we're a 3 billion valuation club. So they've achieved their purpose. But during that period, Arsenal had a masterstroke in appointing David Dean. David Dean was an ambitious football man. He
was also smart
for the club. And he drove Arsenal forward as a football club. That was the difference. They had.
I would argue what people miss in terms of context with Arsenal, especially with Wenger. I love Wenger. I think he's one of the greatest Premier League coaches.
Who brought in Wenger? David Dean.
Wait. Yeah, I agree with you. But the dynamic in which the structure at Arsenal went
Alan Sugar brought in Jerry Francis and Jacques Santana.
I agree about, but what David Dean did was he perfectly managed the situation, going from George Graham and then hiring Wenger, going from one innovative young coach to another that perfectly meshed with the defensive, I would say the defensive culture that George Graham had done. And then it allowed them to express themselves and be quality players with Wenger also and the signings that he made. So I would say that transition of going from, maybe you can argue Bruce Rioch in between, but that transition they did from George Graham and to Wenger, that 15, 20, almost 20-year period was an example of, I would say, a stroke of luck because nobody knew Wenger. But it was brilliant.
David Dean was a football man, though.
Yeah, I agree. I agree about David.
He understood Arsenal was about winning trophies. We haven't had a football person in our club for 30 years. We have not had a.
Come on, so you had Paul Mitchell, you had Baldini, you had
running the show. Running the show. We've never had a football man running the show. Levy is not a football man. Now he's given the job to lots of other people. Let's see if they actually do it.
No, but in terms of Levy, the thing I would always counter you.
The last 20 years, Stefan, since David Dean's gone, you've been in the mud.
I agree. No, and you can argue the same thing about since David Dean left because he wanted us to be sold to a billionaire, because again, David Dean was smart and he saw the way football was going. But you can argue, you can make the same exact argument. No, you can make the same exact argument since David Gill left Man United, he was their CEO, and Ed Woodward replaced him. Man United went completely downward since he also left them. So again, that shows that sometimes you have dynamic leadership that you simply cannot replace. Replacing a coach like Wenger or Ferguson or Pep, I think Man City are going to go through it. You cannot, no matter how good and how well.
Man City have got the infrastructure.
Trust me, I remember. That's not true. I remember Man City.
The infrastructure. There was no progression from David Dean to the next guy. That was your mistake. Just like Man United,
you cannot progress.
Who was the guy that was there when Ferguson? Who was above Ferguson? What was his name?
David Gill. David Gill was his name.
As soon as they lost David Gill, they went to shit.
That's what I said. But my point is that
Man City have got that in place.
No,
they've got the infrastructure.
How were they? Look, remember how were they before?
Like Abramovich. If someone goes, he pays for the best to come in. Man City is the same. Once they lose their people, they pay the best to come in. Yeah, just like Chelsea.
Man City aren't exactly. They're not as cutthroat as Chelsea, but I would argue they will
Man
not.
City are only fucked if the owners sell up.
Who are they going to
when Abramovich left Chelsea? That was game over.
I agree with you, Stel, in terms of the way they run, but you cannot replace a coach like Pep Guardiola. You cannot replace, probably, if we look at it objectively, probably
but they'll get the next best
the
thing.
greatest coach of all time. You cannot replace that. No matter how good your structure is.
They won the league under Pellegrini. They won the league under Mancini. They won the league under other managers. Yes, Pep's the greatest.
Yes, but they weren't of the same level still. They were nowhere near the same level.
Still won the league though. Listen, no one's on Pep's level, but they'll bring in the next best thing, Stefan. Man City still,
but going back to my point, just to finish
we went
my
from
point
Conte to Stellini to fucking Mason, man. Man City would never do that shit.
Yeah, but
you went to Freddie Ljungberg. You've got an amateur in Arteta. Man City aren't going to do that.
He's not an amateur. Look,
dude, he's never worked as a manager.
He's an amateur. We've got a novice coach because this is the Kroenke way. The Kroenkes win titles in every single.
Stefan, that's my point. Man City won't allow that to happen. They're not going to give someone. Man City will not employ someone, a fucking apprentice, first-time job to be in charge of Man City.
I told you this. Man City. Pep Guardiola, the most credible. The most credible Man City sources are saying next year is his final season. Wait. Okay, wait. The next year is his final season. The other thing I would like to say is, no matter how good your run, you cannot replace players like Kevin De Bruyne, managers like Pep Guardiola, no matter how good.
You can replace players. They've been doing it for 10 years. They can do it.
No, they haven't.
Did it for 20 years.
No, they haven't. Calvin Phillips is not as good as Rodri, is he? Doku.
I agree with you
still won the treble, but they still won the treble.
I'm saying to you that this level that they're maintaining, it is just for a period of. They will not be able to, because the players they currently have, it is so difficult to replace them with the same. You cannot replace a generational talent like Kevin De Bruyne. You just can't. You can't. He's probably the greatest ever attacking midfielder in the Premier League. They can't replace.
Stefan, do you know who? I'm laughing about this. Right now, City is going to get this kid who is all world. Will may know him. He's from the Philadelphia Union.
I need to go
Philadelphia Union scouting. But before that, they just brought this kid, Echeverri, who is Argentinian. I seen him play in the U-20. Scored a hat trick against Brazil, something that Maradona and Messi has never done. This kid, they just signed. Like, City continues to bring in talent. Not saying if he's going to be all world, but I trust them to continue this machine that they have.
Because the best academy players in the country right now are at Man City. I've seen it.
And they just got Echeverri, who's a young 17-year-old who is like people are calling him baby Messi right now. They right now are trying to hijack a deal from Brighton for Barco, who plays for my Boca Juniors.
There's only one thing that can derail Man City. There's only one thing that can stop them. That is, if these allegations for fraud come true, that could force the owners to sell. If they get relegated, that's the only thing. If these allegations of fraud are found true and they throw the book at them, that will hurt the club. There's no doubt. It will hurt them 100%.
Yeah, but what about if Guardiola leaves as well? Because that's another thing as well.
Managers can be replaced.
Guys, no, they cannot. Pep Guardiola cannot be replaced. Like, he cannot.
I think it's difficult at the moment. I think it's difficult.
Manager every generation, they will find the next best one.
Yeah, but I think that's not really true. That's not really true. But that's not really true, Stelios. That's not really true, Stelios, because the thing is, look at Manchester United. Look at Manchester United.
That's because they're not run properly. They're not run properly as a club. Man City.
No, Ferguson. No, that's not true. Ferguson chose Moyes. He was the one that said, I choose Moyes over Mourinho.
Ferguson also said to Moyes, but hold on. Ferguson also said to Moyes, when you come in, keep the coaching staff. Don't change the recruitment team. Keep them there for a year and then slowly transition. He came in and got rid of them all. He didn't listen to Fergie, and Gill stepped down. Man United have not been run properly for 10 years. The structure collapsed there. Fergie held that club together. He held the structure together.
With Gill.
He had a lot of power. He had a lot of power at that club. Pep doesn't have that level of power. He doesn't run Manchester City. He doesn't run the academy.
But he has his people.
Tiki
But he's
Bergenstein runs it. Tiki Bergenstein was the academy. He ran La Masia for how many years?
yeah, but
right?
he's
Man
got his
City
people
have got
behind
proper
it.
systems in place, guys. I'm telling you.
Yeah, but he's got his people behind it. That's what the point is, isn't it?
He's got his coaching
people.
team, yeah.
And he's got his people that he's worked with at Barcelona as well, hasn't he? So,
but the recruitment team, Man City employed. The academy head and the academy coaches, Man City employed them.
Yeah.
They brought in Pep. They advised bringing Pep because it works with the system. And when Pep Guardiola retires, of course they won't find an identical manager. But what Man City will do is they'll bring in someone who is of that mold. Will he be as successful? Probably not. Will Man City still be successful? Yes, they will.
I do agree with you there. I think that's
the last
thing,
10
really.
years. They've built up an unbelievable academy. You wait and see the players that are going to start coming out of Man City over the next 2 to 3 years. I'm telling you.
I like some of their players. I do think some of them are not of the level of what they had before. I mean, people might not like it,
Foden's
but
better than any
might not
winger
like my
we've got at our
opinion.
club.
But not
Foden's
like my
better
opinion
than
on this.
any winger we've got at our club, Alex.
No, I agree. But the point is, I think people might not agree with me, but I think people overhype Foden. I think people overhype Foden.
He walks into the Spurs team.
I think. Well, but I think for me, for a player like that, I like to see a little bit more. I like to see him, be like a David Silva. You know what I mean? Be the main man. At the moment, I don't think
he's not elite.
I don't think he's the main man. I think Modric is the main man at the moment, and
the
others
still
are
young,
kind of
right?
bit part players at the moment.
He's still a young player.
Yeah. But the point is, I think at the moment, I just want to see get to that next level because I think he does little tidy stuff. Great, good, okay. But let's see what you can do. Go to that next level now of like taking on, like being the person that is in charge of the team. Like De Bruyne at the moment. De Bruyne comes in at Newcastle, changes the game straight away.
Wins the game.
De Bruyne is an experienced.
I know, but this is but still. Some people are saying that this guy is really, really good. Yeah, he's
who are you
world
guys
class
talking about
already. And the point I'm making is, right, I think he's a good player. I think he's got some very good promise. I think he's really good, but I think it sums up when he goes to England. And yes, okay, Southgate's in charge, cool. But the point is, if you're a good player, right, you make that team much better. You know what I mean? You carry that team. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like Gareth Bale, for instance. He goes to Wales, he carries the team. You know what I mean?
Wales, golf, Real Madrid.
You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I just think I need a little bit more.
Yeah, but Gareth Bale wasn't like that at 22 years old, though, Alex.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is, I think we are overhyping someone like Foden at the moment. I'm not saying he's not a bad player, right? But I'm sorry, he needs to do more. Yeah, I say that about other players as well. Okay, to be balanced. But the thing is that you're playing for the best team in the Premier League at the moment. You need to do a little bit more better. You know what I mean? You've got players like you played under like David Silva.
He's playing well right
Rodri,
now.
you played under Yaya Toure. You know what I mean?
Listen, if Pep Guardiola picks you on a regular, you're good, man.
Yeah,
Alex, but I'm not saying he's not good. But the point is that he needs to take more of the burden. You see what I'm saying?
When he does,
more on him.
That will come with experience.
No, I'll give you an example.
13 minutes left. We got about 13 minutes left because I want to end it exactly at the 3-hour mark.
Mari, can I just say, you know which club's an absolute joke and no one speaks on it because they don't know their history? Chelsea.
Yeah.
Before Roman Abramovich, they were nothing. A nothing club. They've been a nothing club for 100 years, right?
Exactly. You really hate Chelsea style.
No,
you really hate Chelsea.
Stefan, before Abramovich, who were Chelsea?
I agree. I agree. They were
miles ahead of them in terms of trophy wins.
They were
Abramovich comes, builds a stadium, £100 million this player, maximum wages. Here's 1.5 billion from my pocket, interest-free loan. As soon as he leaves, look at them now. What you're seeing now isn't the collapse of Chelsea. This is the real Chelsea. This is exactly how they were before Abramovich. No. This is exactly how they were before Abramovich.
Yeah,
bang average.
No, so I disagree. I remember Chelsea with Vialli. They would finish 5th, 4th. They would get into the FA Cup final.
They weren't like the champions.
I'm not saying this guy.
People call that Spursy, Stefan. People call that Spursy.
Okay.
All right,
But
I want to say this because I want to spend the last 2 minutes on transfer needs. But I will say this. And you'll find a team in every sport, from college to professional. The thing with Tottenham, and I'm just gonna say this with us, there's always a period. It's always a period, like there's a sleeping giant, right? And you have to have the right recipe. The right recipe came to Chelsea at that time, right? Because we're talking about Chelsea.
Recipe, Mari.
No, don't interrupt me. The right recipe where Roman came in, right? It's the same thing with City, right? The same opportunity, right? The same recipe for success to come in.
They financially doped.
Right, but it changed the history of their club. So Tottenham right now, right, $1 billion stadium, $1 billion valuation of the team, right? A coach, a manager that everybody likes, right?
Not everybody likes.
Well, minus Alex and minus Scott M. But these next 2 years is extremely up them does, because it can be a beginning, right? If a big owner is not a new owner is not coming in, this is the opportunity that a sleeping giant can wake up. But the problem is we have 23 years of evidence of Daniel Levy, and so now it's these next couple seasons we're gonna see what happens in regards to our club, because this is the important time in our club. I really truly believe this is the important time where we can either progress into heights that we have never seen
this before,
or we could go back.
Same style. Same story.
This is why.
And the thing is, we've had those chances with Redknapp. We had those
chances with Redknapp. Stop. We had these chances with Redknapp.
We did.
Because you were 4 points off the top in December. Guys, stop with this narrative.
I'm not. You have to look.
Stefan, hold on a minute.
You're not understanding what I'm saying.
If your manager is 4 points off the top in the January transfer,
I'm not talking about where we landed.
Chairman, get me these 2 players, I'll win you the league. And the chairman brings in 2 donkeys that the manager didn't ask for.
Saha and
Nelson. The chairman decided not to go for it. The chairman decided.
I'm not talking about the end result. I'm not talking about the end result, Stefan. I'm talking about the opportunity, seizing the opportunity. That's what I'm talking about. Right?
Well, what does that
mean? Will Stewart made a good comment about Arsenal earlier. He said, whether Arsenal go on and win the league this year or not, which we don't think you will, at least your chairman said, there's 100 million, get Declan Rice. You showed intent of ambition.
No, the Kroenkes
we don't do that, Stefan. But you did. But you did it from a place of strength where you came second.
Yeah, but here's
this is why this is stupid. Because why would it always be Spursy? Why would it be Spursy?
No, wait.
It's an intergalactical. Like this is a stupid comment, right? That's what I'm talking about.
He's a Chelsea fan. He's a Chelsea. Are you surprised?
I know. Like Chelsea
bought everything. They bought everything.
Let me wait. Let me know what they are. Wait, let me just again. You guys, the problem with Spurs fans is, I would say, when it comes to especially Arsenal, is I would say you guys look at it through a quite black and white. Arsenal didn't just sign Rice. You can't just sign Rice unless you're, let's say, the Roman Abramovich. And even then, I don't think Rice, if Chelsea were unstable, you have to create a project and to give him, to create the attraction.
10 times bigger than West Ham.
Okay, wait.
He was always going to leave West Ham and go to a bigger club.
Man City.
He didn't have to be Champions League. You would have got him.
Man City.
You are a step up from West Ham.
Okay, wait. I agree. But Man City and
Bayern Munich wanted him. You're in the Europa.
Wait, stop.
Ozil came to you in the Europa.
I'm just going to compare. So in American sports, especially in college sports,
you're a bigger club.
Let me just finish my point. In college sports, you need to recruit players. It's not only about getting the best players. You need to be able to convince them to come in why that it's the right place. When you had to sign, when you could have signed Bastoni, you had an Italian sporting director, you had an Italian coach, he still didn't come. So my point is that you have to, in order to get to the next level, Arsenal, I think, are now almost there in terms of we're attracting every single top player.
We weren't going to pay £70 million for him, dude. We weren't going to pay the money.
But we wouldn't
even pay 45 million for Skriniar.
First of all, that's not true. You paid 65 million for Ndombele. You paid almost 60 million if you take
wouldn't pay the money for Skriniar.
For Brennan Johnson.
Pay the money. Hitchin went to Inter Milan, agreed the deal. Levy
that was one deal. That was one deal. But
that's
I can name you other deals.
That was an important deal. Because we were leaking goals.
We ended up with Joe Rodon. We signed Joe Rodon instead.
Okay, but I get Levy has screwed up.
Stefan, it's the intent. It's the intent.
You're not letting me do it. I agree with you, Stout. But I think you're ignoring the fact that he also has closed big time deals for you guys.
Like what?
He also has closed Brennan Johnson for 60 million almost.
Dude,
let's be honest. Wait.
That is not a sign of intent, dude. That is not a sign of ambition.
Okay, I agree. Look, paying 60 million.
I'm sure Liverpool, Man City were shitting themselves when we signed Brennan Johnson. They thought,
but still, it's not my fault that you spend 50 and 60 million on Brent and another 60 on Richarlison, and Arsenal spend 100 million on Declan Rice. The quality of the scouting.
I'm not talking about the money spent, dude. You're missing my point. It's the intent. When you signed Declan Rice, everyone said, do you know what? We didn't think Arsenal were going to pull that off. In fact, we never thought Arsenal would spend 100 million on one player. In fact, they're trying to go up a level from second place last year. Spurs have never, from a place of strength, i.e. finishing top 4, gone and done something where you, Will, me, Mari, Alex, people watching the show, we say Spurs signed that player. Wow.
Okay, so
never done
let's say Spurs, let's say they get Champions League. I don't think you will. What will be a signal of intent for you? What do Spurs have to do in the
players to make it better?
Anyone who's an established quality player, doesn't have to be an Mbappe, the elite level, but a Kvaratskhelia, for example, where people say,
you're going to pay 100 million for a winner?
No. Dude, you're missing my point. Forget the price. It's at the intent where we do something that really elevates where we're at. Not Brennan Johnson, not fucking Timo Werner, not fucking.
I agree about Timo Werner. That was a joke.
And we get better next season.
Okay.
That's the point. And when I mean better, we do better than this season that we're doing right now. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, and cope with the expectations, because this season we haven't had the expectations like Arsenal last season, and we do better this season, next season.
Alex,
because that's the important thing I'm saying at the moment. Because I think what we're saying at the moment, we're too much focusing. We are too much focusing on the signings, right? The point I'm making is the mentality has to change. It has to change.
Quality players change the mentality.
Yeah, I think it's important, but the point is, I think everyone needs to
raise the level.
I think also we need to get to a point. We need to get to a point because we need to get to a point
Sancho was a young, up-and-coming player. He wasn't he wasn't a marquee signing. He wasn't.
Yeah, but we need to get to a point.
Signing. He was one of the hottest wingers in Europe.
Can I just interject?
He was doing well. He wasn't the levels. Who's that guy at Bayern Munich? Is it Musiala? Right.
Yeah.
That's a marquee signing.
Yeah, but you're never going to sign Musiala from Bayern Munich style.
I know. There's other players of that level that we can attract who are at lower level.
Tell me which one, because in my opinion,
we don't know until the summer, Bob. We don't know until the summer. We don't know until the summer.
In terms of if we're if you ask me as an Arsenal fan, where can we raise our levels in terms of signings? In the summer, I can see 3 places. For me, a top signing would be Ivan Toney. That guy raises our level in terms of the striker position.
Stefan, we can get Ivan Toney. Why can't we get him?
No, you can't.
I'm sorry. We're not
if you don't get Champions League, if Arsenal, if Liverpool come in, if Man United come in,
I mean, stop talking about specifics and just say the point
you
is.
don't go in for him. Like, let's just say you don't go in for him.
he
Why
wants
can't we
Arsenal
pay him?
now. Everybody knows.
Stefan, you're not listening. You're not listening. If you don't go in for him, why will he not want to come to us? If you don't go for him, why not?
I agree with you.
That's my point.
But
that's
if
my point.
If Arsenal come in, if Man United come in,
go to you. You'll go to Man United. I don't know. I don't know about Man United.
Still, it's Man United. No matter how shit they are
out of Europe, why would any top player want to go there?
I'll tell you why. Because you guys are going to offer him 180K a week. Man United are going to offer him 280.
Right. So then he's not going for football. He's going for the money.
I mean, sometimes the level of the difference in terms of wages is astronomical.
These arguments with we can afford
the wages and we can afford the money. We are financially one of the best, if the not best run club in the Premier League. Our FFP flexibility is so good. If we really want to get a player, there's no excuses. The difference is we don't do it. We've never strengthened from a position of strength. We always strengthen when we're in the mud or when things are chaotic. We never.
My argument is as well. My argument is that if it was this easy for Tottenham to turn it around from being embarrassing last season, why can it not be easy for somebody else to do it next season?
Again,
you see what I'm saying?
Context. Again,
you know what I mean?
You have no expectations
because hold on. But Alex, this is my argument. We have been told as Spurs fans that we are now the most financially powerful club. Therefore, we've now got a lead on our rivals because of FFP, because of the way we've run it. So now they need to show it to us.
That's the point. Because the thing is,
earlier,
but that doesn't mean you're going to spend 200 million in January, Stel, just because you can maybe sign a couple.
I never said
Stefan, we're not saying that though, Stefan. Let's stick to the point.
Sign marquee players.
Marquee players.
Stefan, let's not go on specific players. Let's just say that
we've got the project players. We've got the established good players in our team. We've got some up and coming youngsters. We've got a couple of really good players we signed with experience like Maddison. Now go and sign 2 or 3 players that show intent. We'll say this earlier.
You mean world class players?
They don't have to be world class, but they show intent.
But you do realize, in order to sign that level raiser, like for example, when Liverpool raised their levels to become title challengers, they signed Alisson for 60, broke the record for
Van Dijk.
They signed Van Dijk for 75, broke the record. Right. The problem is there's 2 reasons which I think Spurs fans need to understand. You're not that attractive of a club yet. You cannot sign. You don't have the heritage of.
We can spend money that other clubs can't. We've been told now.
Yes, but even for example, Dragusin, right? You know what? Yeah. Respect to the guy. He got offered more money at Bayern Munich. Even his agent was like, "What the fuck? Why did he reject Bayern Munich?" Respect to him. He saw so many young players have gone to Bayern Munich, non-German players that are literally they just get completely destroyed at Bayern.
I have a responsibility for that.
Yeah.
First of all, there's people understand. There's a lot of good players that are out there. They all can't go to Real Madrid. They all can't go to Bayern. They all can't go to a certain team. It comes to recruitment. Number 2, honestly, my number 1 choice, who wanted to come to us, but like I said, it goes back to Daniel Levy because if we coughed up that money, this was Tobido, right? The guy who starts over.
No, Nice. They're not selling him.
No. They're not selling. No, they say they're not selling him. Why? Because we're not serious. Because after the Fabrizio said the next sentence, but they're talking to Chelsea. They want to talk to Chelsea.
Do you really think Daniel Radcliffe is going to sell his best asset at Nice when Man United really needs center backs?
Yeah, he doesn't have a choice because that's pressurization. In fact, he can't do it. He'll get investigated by UEFA if he does that.
I'm sure they'll find a loophole. Man City have found a loophole for 20 years.
Stefan, if we go back 15 years ago, Man City were nothing. Do you agree? They were nothing.
I agree.
Right. Okay. But they got to a place where they win everything. Now,
because of Pep Guardiola, still.
No. Before Pep, Mancini won a league title. Pellegrini, they were stepping stones,
but they weren't as stable. They weren't as good.
Hear me out, Stefan. Hear me out. They were stepping stones.
Yeah.
How did they attract the talent?
they didn't attract. If you remember the first 6 to 7 years, they were playing with Roque Santa Cruz up front.
How did they attract the players to win a league title? How did they attract those players to win a league title?
Yes, they attracted some really good players. They also got a bit lucky.
How?
Wait,
but how? They're nothing club.
Let me explain to you. They got a bit lucky also. Vincent Kompany. No, that's not necessarily true. Yes, for some players. Wait, let me say. If you look at the players they signed in the first 5 to 6 years, they were not all that still. They had Edin Dzeko, they had Roque Santa Cruz, they signed Wilfred Boney.
They did in the beginning, yeah.
Yeah, wait, but their big kind of splash, like we're big time, was the Robinho signing from Real Madrid, where everybody was shocked how they managed to get Robinho.
How did they attract him though? How did they attract him?
With a ridiculous salary. I agree with you, but my point
because they invested, Stefan, when they were getting stronger.
I agree.
If Man City can do it, then we can do it. We can attract those players because we were more successful than Man City back then.
But still, there is a major difference. Pep Guardiola came in.
Pep wasn't there when they signed Aguero.
Wait. Pep Guardiola was there before Pep.
So was Yaya Toure. So was Vincent Kompany.
No, that's not particular. Pep Guardiola said, "I'm only gonna come if you sign my sporting director from Barcelona."
Forget the Pep era. Before they won. No, it's not. They won league titles with Mancini and Pellegrini. How did they attract those players to come to that club?
But if you look at the players,
Pellegrini?
Okay, I'll give you an example. Okay, they poached the best players from clubs. Like for example, when Arsenal were going through building their stadium, they tripled Samir Nasri's salary. They took Kolo Toure. They took Adebayor.
Why did they go there, Stefan? Why did they go to
because of money. I agree. Okay, but
right, so there's my point. Yeah, so if Spurs show the money, why can't we do it?
Because it's not the same context now, Stel. Now every single club, fucking Bournemouth signed Neto, Stel. Keylor Navas was playing in Nottingham Forest.
More financial power now, Stefan, than those clubs.
But you're not.
We are now the FFP Kings. This is what's going on. So I want to now see us show that muscle the way Man City did back then. I want Spurs to stop being the lowest profit to wages ratio, only like below 50%.
You mean
why can't we raise that
revenue?
threshold?
You mean revenue?
Revenue. Why we don't need to be like this anymore now. We can show a bit more flexibility.
I agree, but I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why he doesn't do it.
We don't try, Stefan. We don't.
You do. You have tried. If you look at, you can blame the scouting. All of your big money signings,
dude, we've never gone
dog shit. All of your the only signing that I think that has been successful that you've paid over 30 million is arguably Van de Ven. If you look at all of your record signings, the Eric Lamelas, the Davinson Sanchez,
Stefan, I'm talking about marquee signings.
I agree, but in Levy's eyes, because it's a record signing, that's a marquee signing. So
forget what Levy says, right? Unless we start making marquee signings, I'm not saying loads, 2 or 3, Stefan, we will never go to that next level.
I agree. I agree with this.
So therefore, unless that happens this summer, this is all a waste of time again.
But still, my argument to you is that in order for you to attract those marquee players, because those marquee players, still, like Arsenal had in the summer, when they wanted Timber, he was really wanted by Bayern Munich, but we recruited him and convinced him.
He's not a marquee signing, dude. Declan Rice.
I mean, I agree he's not a marquee signing, but he's a top Champions League type player that when we signed him.
That's all he is.
Okay, Declan Rice. You need to compete. The problem with what you have is those marquee signings that you talk about, the ones that will raise your level. You will come up against the big dogs for them. And until now,
is Dragonson a marquee signing then?
Who?
Dragonson.
No,
Bayern Munich were in for him, and we signed him.
He's a young signing with potential.
Okay, so then why is Timber not a young signing with potential?
No, he is. You have to admit that he is. He is.
It's literally the exact situation. Bayern Munich was in for him. You got him. Bayern Munich was in for him. We got him.
No. Take Timber. Take Timber. I agree. But Declan Rice, for example, he's a marquee signing. He is a level raiser in terms of the quality of midfield that we had back then. In order to come to Arsenal, we need to convince him, Style. We need to say, you should come to Arsenal over Bayern Munich and Man City.
No,
because
the first thing you've got to do is be prepared to pay the money to West Ham.
Yes, but I'll give you an
example. And then if you're Declan Rice, you're saying, right, the club have accepted the money. Do I stay at West Ham or do I go to Arsenal? You're going to Arsenal.
I'll give you one.
If we find a quality player of that level or similar at a lower level club, there is no reason why Spurs can't get them.
Still, I'll give you one great recent example with what I'm trying to say. Why, if Spurs don't get Champions League football, why I think you won't. Luis Diaz, you guys agreed to deal with him, and you guys even gave him a bigger salary.
Liverpool is a bigger club than us. He'll always go to Liverpool at the top.
That's my point. That's what you're going to struggle with.
Yeah, no. We will struggle if we go toe-to-toe with a City or a Liverpool, yes. But there are players out there
or Man United.
I'm not sure about Man United right now, right? I'm 50-50.
No, it's Man United, man.
Dude,
it's Man United.
Dude, they're a mess.
I agree.
Players don't want to go to a mess.
Fucking Chelsea are a mess. They still signed Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo, man.
Because they pay 120 million. Because they pay 120 million. They pay insane prices. They outbid everyone. You would have got Mudryk if Chelsea didn't go and spend even more than you.
I agree. About Mudryk, I agree. But
so Chelsea's all about the money. What I'm saying to you is this. There are top players across Europe that Spurs can sign that would be a marquee signing where we don't need to go toe-to-toe with the bigger clubs, where we can attract them. For example, we got Maddison because nobody else wanted to get him, and we came in and got him.
Newcastle wanted him, but he said he wanted to go to London.
Right. So we were more attractive. And do you know what? We're a bigger club than Newcastle, so I'm not surprised. But at the same time, there are quality players out there. Spurs can sign where we don't go toe-to-toe with Man City, that we can get, but the club's got to be prepared to pay the wage and the price. And we haven't done that before.
Okay, but let's
establish players.
I agree, I agree with you, but let's delve into the psyche. I know you hate him. Let's delve into the psyche of Daniel Levy. He has been burnt on literally every big money transfer he has done. Every single one. If you look at you look at all your record signings, you look at Davinson Sanchez, Eric Lamela, Ndombele, Lo Celso, Richarlison.
And listen, other than Richarlison, all of those players you've mentioned were unknowns. They're not marquee.
Unknowns? Ndombele was like the hottest midfield prospect when you signed him.
I didn't know anything about him until Spurs were linked with him.
Purple patch year.
That's not true.
Remember,
he got to
I've never heard. You know the story of him. He got cut, then got onto the team, then lost weight. Right, he did everything. He did the work to get back into.
That's on Spurs, Mari. That's on Spurs for not doing
but they're not marquee signings. They're just expensive mistakes. Stefan, don't confuse expensive mistakes with marquee signings.
But do you get?
No. Do you know what they've all got in common? These players, they're very young, 22, 21. So Daniel Levy looks at them and says, right, they could be worth more if they work out.
Yeah, resale value.
Go and buy a 24-year-old that's proven it for 4 or 5 years across Europe. Go and spend big money on that player. He never does that. He never does that.
Every club is following this policy now, which is very rarely now do clubs sign a 28, 29-year-old.
But it doesn't fucking work because you can't beat Liverpool.
It does. Does it not work with Real Madrid? Has it not worked with where they have slowly?
Dude, Real Madrid signed the best and the greatest, dude.
That's true. Okay, yeah, maybe that's not a good
example. Real Madrid had about a 4 or 5 year period after Ronaldo left them where they were.
They signed Bellingham. They signed Jude Bellingham, bro.
Well, they won 3 Champions Leagues, man. What are you talking about? They were shit. What are you talking about?
We're talking about their league performances where it was up and
Well,
down.
they won Champions League.
They shouldn't even gotten to the final. Man City should have smashed them in that game, right? Pep Guardiola completely blew
it. They won the Champions League.
That one he did choke.
Benzema won it for them, man. He just turned up.
Okay, but still,
and City choked too.
I'm telling you, these type of expectations that you have. Let's see, because you're the thing with
Stefan. I don't expect Mbappe. I don't expect Jude Bellingham. But there's a level below that we can attract because we've got the money, we've got the financial ability to do it,
Why can't we get Diaby, right?
We just
Diaby, how does
we never do it? We
get
never do it. We never go
No,
for it.
look,
Instead, we go for fucking Timo Werner, Brennan Johnson, Chicken
Wait, for Brennan Johnson still, blame Ange. Blame Ange. He was his number one. Everybody said he was his number one.
Spurs were looking at him 2 years ago. Spurs were looking at Brennan 2 years ago.
Okay, but Ange said he is my number one. I got my number one offensive.
He never said it's his number one. He never said that.
He never even said that
So
though.
that should tell you. That should tell you that if Ange says I wanted to sign Timo Werner alone, it's still status quo. It's
Stefan. If Ange Postecoglou and the Spurs recruitment team were given £40 million to go and buy a winger, they're not picking Timo Werner, right? The reason Timo Werner's at Spurs is for two reasons. One, he's happy to come here. He's happy to come here for 6 months, and two, he's free. It's the only reason he's at Spurs. If we had to pay money for him, he's not going to be here. Same as Solomon. Solomon's only at Spurs because he's free. If we actually had to spend money on a winger, we're not bringing in these players. We're not bringing them in.
It's a Levy special. That those type
it's of the criteria. Where I agree with you is Ange has agreed to this method.
Yeah, he every time. If you ask him about
he's agreed to this criteria. That's on Ange.
No, but that should tell you that. And I think it's not. I mean, it's a bit sad to see that Spurs fans believe that Ange somehow has more influence over Levy than big time coaches like Mourinho and Conte. He's the same. The status quo. It's gonna get to the point of which he's overachieved this year. You're probably gonna spend some money in the summer, sign some players. I predict next year you're gonna go like Newcastle or Brighton, where you're gonna struggle to play this type of football every 3 days if you get into the Europa League, for example.
Right, Brighton sold their three best players and didn't properly replace them.
Yes, no. Brighton had 12 to 13 injuries. They're the team that had the most injuries. That's the reason why.
They sold their three best players as well. If Spurs keep their best players, which we will, and we sign 5 good players, we won't go down that road. If we don't sign top players this summer, then yeah, we're fucked because we can't play Europe and Premier League.
I just think we've got. Still, you have to look more kind of into the. I agree with you. When the iron is hot, you have to take the opportunity. Like when you were under Poch, you should have spent and built up the squad because you had Kane, you had a young Kane, a young
Eriksen, Moussa Dembele, Alderweireld.
You had all these players. Arsenal. I think the difference between us is Arsenal have the second youngest squad in the league. They're only going to get better. I think the Cronkies are going to go all in like they did.
If they stay at Arsenal. If they stay at Arsenal.
Oh, they're going to stay at Arsenal. They all sign new deals, man.
Everyone leaves if you don't win trophies, man. It always happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit more. I mean, Arsenal, they pay much more than you guys. So it's very rare that, I mean, the one big time player that has left over the last few years, as the only one that I can think of in the last decade, has been Alexis Sanchez when he left.
Stefan, you will try and get marquee players.
No, for sure.
Right? My argument is Spurs don't do that.
No,
it's the one problem with our club. It's why we don't win anything.
I agree.
Make that leap. We never make that leap.
But I think you discount the fact that Spurs just are not that type of pull that a Man United are, and or an Arsenal are, that a Chelsea are.
Every club that's successful, that isn't a big club, that becomes big, pulls them in eventually if they show the ambition. We don't show that ambition. I gave you Man City was a nothing club. They did it.
I agree with you. I agree with you about Arsenal in terms of in this summer. I really do think like Tony will happen. Like I think he's pretty much he will come to Arsenal. Like in terms of that's the difference now. When I think of the Cronkies and back in the day under Wenger, I know that Arsenal will not stay. Like they will not be stationary in the transfer market now. We will sign Tony. We will sign probably a fullback, and maybe with Spurs, it's first you wanted to Debo, you can't sign him. You go down to your second option. So let's see. I mean,
let me read these super chats and then end the stream.
Yeah, let's go. Fuck me, it was long.
Yeah. Disabled team. I didn't get a chance to read this. He says, "Great show tonight. I respect Stefan for staying his ground, but he's waffling."
Big up to disabled team. I went on their show yesterday, man. They're good guys. They're really good guys.
Thanks.
It's a great cause, man. It's a great cause what they're doing there.
Faz, he says, "Big up. Arsenal had 50 points last season. Now 40 points."
Yeah, I agree. We're not as good as last year, but take into account last year we didn't have Champions League football.
Big up to Sava, who had 2 super chats. One says, "Stefan's have a day off. Rodri is the best midfielder in the league. He makes the best team in the world tick."
This one was earlier.
And why Arsenal fans are a joke. And then he also says, "Stefan, you probably think soccer's world class and worth 150 mil.
Never said that.
Arsenal fans genuine. Everyone is so overrated by them." Yes, it was the return of Stefan. We'll also have the return of TJ next week. Big up to Mortal Worm, who also became a member. We'll have hopefully the full gauntlet. Though Stefan can handle 4 against 1, 5 at one time. But no, it was good to have him on as always, and the fans love him. As much as they put in the comments, they love him, and check him out. He's been, check out Connor's channel, CMO. He was on there last night.
Yeah, guys. Wednesday night. Just want to big up Wednesday night. Me and Connor, we have an Arsenal / Premier League show. So tune in, guys. It's at 8 p.m. UK time. So just come on and see. It's just a nice debate between 2 people with very different viewpoints on things. So yeah, come and check us out on Wednesday nights.
It was really good yesterday. Check out Connor's channel. Check out him and Stefan's show. I'm happy Stefan, as I showed, we've been telling him he needs to he's box office. Either you agree or you disagree, he is definitely box office. And so so definitely check it out. We already put the link on there. Guys, we don't even play for 12 days. When is our next show? Like, I hate this period. It's boring. Look, you guys
I can't wait, guys. I can't wait for the Premier League, man.
Yeah,
I've been so bored with the I don't know what you call it, the Premier League break. Like it's been shit.
It's boring.
Winter break.
Hey guys, I didn't watch the game. I passed out. Who won today? Atletico or Real Madrid?
4-2 Atletico, I think.
Oh really? Atletico beat Real Madrid?
I think it was 4-2. Yeah, I'll double check.
Fuck you know. Okay. Lee Gunner is gonna have a field day now about Diego Simeone.
Well, according to Lee Gunner, if Ange doesn't beat Man City in the FA Cup, then Ange needs to be sacked. 4-2 in extra time. It was 2-2.
So
it was 2-2 at full time.
Right? And they won 4-2 in extra.
Yeah, Griezmann and Riquelme scored the winners.
No, if you look,
quickly, Stefan. Tricky game, Palace.
No, we should win. They're missing most of their elite players are playing. Like half of their squad is injured.
They'll beat Crystal Palace, man. They'll beat Crystal Palace.
Yeah, I think at home we'll beat them easily. Like I hope we're fresh. We just came back from a nice, training camp in Dubai, so we should win. Who are you guys playing?
We don't play this weekend.
Oh, yeah, you guys don't play this week. Yeah, true.
We played last weekend.
Yeah, so it's a long wait. Who do we play next? I don't
Man City.
Friday
night.
In the league, Brentford.
Oh,
Brentford at home, but with Ivan Toney. Let's see how he responds.
Well, might not be Ivan Toney.
No, mate, we got Van de Ven Romero back, man. I'm not bothered.
Ivan Toney
as well.
Really good, man.
Yeah, Master should be back because he said he's gonna try to come for the City game. The City game is the funny thing about the City game. Every time we think, oh, City's gonna batter us. It's always I don't know, for some reason with City, I always feel that there is always a chance because there's always a chance, especially at home. There's always a chance. I mean, Stefan, I mean, as a Spurs fan, should we think that way? I mean, it's a one-off. Anything can happen.
You're their bogey. Even the one where you finished 3-3, let's be honest, that was extremely fortunate. City should have been 2-3-0 up in the first half. Haaland missed an open goal, which he never misses. So they had plenty of chances in that game. In the first half, especially, they should have been 2-3-0 up. They didn't.
Haaland missed 2 open goals against Spurs.
Haaland? I remember he missed pretty much an open goal. He missed the side foot. Did you remember the cross at the end of the first? Yeah, I remember that. And I was like, okay, yeah.
Haaland does miss some sitters, man.
Yeah, against you guys, he just.
But
when you're scoring 30 a season, you can miss a few, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, where's the game? Is it at Spurs or is it at Man City?
They've never scored in 5 or 6 games. They have never scored.
Where's the game?
Murray, we've never ever played Man City. All the times we've beaten them without either Son or Kane playing. It's the first time we're gonna have both out. So
at least one of them has been there at some point.
Yeah, guys, can I ask you again? Where's the game? At City or in the Spurs?
We've never given up a goal.
Again, the thing that differs for me is that you're not gonna play like Conte, and I think you were their kryptonite when you played counter-attacking football against.
Drew them at their ground, man.
You're gonna play open football against City.
We scored 3 goals against them.
Sorry,
we drew 3-3
at their ground.
Yeah, but that 3-3, let's be honest, was a very flattering 3-3. The equalizer, Kulusevski didn't know anything about it. Hit him off his shoulder. Like the first half, City you guys couldn't get out of your half for like 35. Like City had
Stefan, do you know what's funny though? This is the weird
second
thing.
Half, we dominated second half.
No, you didn't dominate, Will. Jesus.
Literally, we had more possession than them.
Stefan, do you know what's
yes, that means you dominated, Will.
Yeah. We had the ball more. We had more shots.
Do you know what's funny though?
We
always get this luck when we play them though.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's like I was saying earlier on today. I actually think Spurs will lose this game, right? I do, because without Son or Kane, I just don't see it.
And it's a cup game.
I always get this result wrong. I always end up in the mud with this. So if we do beat them 1-0, I won't be shocked.
I think City.
You can't write Spurs off. We're the only team you can never write off against City.
That's true. No, you guys have been kind of like Liverpool have always been our bogey team. Like for example, the FA, we should have won that game easily, but somehow they won. You know, they scored their first goal was an own goal from us. So it's like the same way Chelsea. No matter how shit Chelsea are, they always beat you guys. They
always turn up against us. They always get the luck.
Even when they're shit, they always beat you. Even when they're shit.
That's why I hate Chelsea. I hate them.
They always I don't get even that game where they won 4-1 against you. I still can't comprehend that shit, because even before the red cards,
Washington Jackson got a hat trick. Jackson got a hat trick against us. Do you know how crap he is? He's so.
I agree, but that was after you had 9 men. But if you remember,
but only we give a hat trick to a bum like him.
Well, I mean, you also let Højlund score, man. You also, Højlund scored against.
He's not a bad player. He's just
he's awful, man.
Nah,
I agree. The more I watch this guy, he's you know what he is? He's a Norwegian Gabby Agbonlahor. That's what he is. He's just pure. He's
Stefan,
just
in Europe, I think he's going to come good for them, but not the way they play, man. It's not for him.
He's got no quality. Still, watch him play. His ball control. He's just pure speed.
I think he's all right. I think he's.
I don't know. I'm not. And he's super one-footed. Like he's not. He's not. I think Martial is.
I wouldn't pay 70 million for him. I wouldn't have paid 70 million. That's crazy.
I mean, the guy only scored 8 goals from like 35 appearances in Italy. Why would Vlahovic, when Arsenal wanted to sign Vlahovic in Juventus?
He's a class.
From Fiorentina, the guy had scored 24 goals from like 26 games from Fiorentina.
Vlahovic is a top player.
Vlahovic is a top player. I can't believe I keep reading that Juventus want to sell him. What?
Money, financial fair play.
And only that, you know what I'm reading now? This is how spoiled Arsenal
Was it Allegri? Fans. He doesn't get with a manager.
No, I agree about Allegri, but this is how spoiled Arsenal fans are now. I'm reading some of the comments on Twitter. Vlahovic and Tony aren't good enough for Arsenal. What the some of the fucking the logic.
Dude, when
Like-
you've got Eddie and Ketia,
Exactly.
anything's a
Wait,
fucking
wait,
up.
wait,
Exactly.
Stefan, didn't
So
you
it's
tell me
like-
that like your aunt's uncle's cousin said that the Tony deal was done?
I never said that about Tony. I
You did
I
say
said
to us
about-
100% you're getting him in January. You did
I
say
said,
You
that.
said that there was
I said I
somebody you
thought we would
knew.
get him in January.
No,
The only
I
one
think
where
Osimhen. I think
First
he
of
said
You
all,
said there was
again-
someone you knew that told you that
no,
the deal
that
was
was
already
about
done.
Osimhen. No, that
It was
was about
Osimhen.
Osimhen.
It was
That
Osimhen.
was about Osimhen.
Oh,
I
okay.
said Osimhen in the summer. He told me specifically that he has contacts. He's a Chelsea fan. He works in the sports
Never trust
industry
a
in
Chelsea
London.
fan.
He's a massive Chelsea fan. My
Wonder what
I
friend.
said
Osimhen
never
will
trust
go.
him. Never trust
Where
a
do you
Chelsea
think- where do
fan.
you think
But he told me
Osimhen will go?
specifically that it's between Arsenal and Chelsea. He wants to go to Arsenal, but Chelsea are offering him crazy money, and his agents are advising him to go to Chelsea. That's what he told me, and he thinks that he's going to go to. If Arsenal want to sign him, which I don't think we will, he will go because I don't think Arsenal are going to
Who's
pay.
this, Tony?
No, Osimhen.
Osimhen.
I think these players are going to wait and see where Chelsea finish in the league. Because if Chelsea finish 9th, they're not going to go and play
No.
without European football.
Poch. I mean, I blame Pot. I mean, he's done worse than Potter. So yeah, I mean, I told you
But
about Poch.
Chelsea have got a
I told you
little
about
run
this
going,
season.
man. Chelsea, I reckon Chelsea can. I reckon Chelsea can get Europa Cup.
Still, have you watched them play? Their wins are a joke. They don't like. It's like Man United when they win. Like they win the game, but they're shit. They're horrendous.
I think there's a road because Chelsea don't have Europe. You see, I think there's a road where they can get Europa Cup. I'm not
The
saying they
only
will.
thing that I am
I think they
completely
can do it.
confused about is I'm watching Caicedo still, and it's like he looks like Wilson Palacios.
No,
Worse.
he's been good lately. He's been good lately.
Have you been watching him? He's been
Yeah.
awful.
Recently he's been good. No, recently he's been good, man. Him and Conor Gallagher have been the best players in that team
But
recently.
the reason why Chelsea,
Those
the
three have been
reason
good.
why, yeah, I agree about karma, but the reason why Chelsea are shit is their best player and their best material has been Conor Gallagher. That's why they're 10th. You
The
can't
reason
have.
they're shit is because their chairman has gone nuts.
No, he's
literally
done.
bought a whole load of expensive players who are young and said, deal with it.
He's done.
There's no-
He's done. He's
Crazy,
done
man.
everything what the stereotype of American owners coming into football was when the
Mate,
British
Tom Boney's
media
a lunatic, man. Tom Boney's a fucking cracker.
No, he just if you read about him, he's a big risk taker in terms of how he invests. He's a pioneer in everything. So he takes massive risks and he tries to change the market literally.
The thing is though, you know, if Chelsea don't get Champions League money, right? Do you know how many problems they're going to have
They're
financially?
fucked. They're fucked. And I love it still. I
There's
hope they
going to have
burn
to be
down.
like a what do you call it when you got to sell everything quick?
Yeah, that's what they're gonna do.
Fire
They're
sale.
gonna
There's going
sell-
to be a fire sale at Chelsea.
No, I'm not. They're not. I told Mari this.
It's
I was
bad.
like, I told you, they're not going to finish in the top 10 this year. I'm telling you guys, they're going to
Spurs
finish
will buy
11th.
Washington Jackson.
Credit.
We'll go and get fucking
I
Jackson.
said it in the preseason.
No, you're going to get Conor Gallagher. You
I
guys,
did say
I don't mind Gallagher. I don't mind him.
he's a fucking. He's Højbjerg. He's a British Højbjerg. That's what he is.
No,
He's
he's
I like
better
exactly
than
the
Højbjerg.
same.
He's way better on the ball than Højbjerg.
I like Gallagher.
I disagree. Højbjerg is much better at passing than him. Much better.
What?
Much better.
Long balls.
Højbjerg gave the ball away
But
the
not through
most
bars.
against Man
I
United.
agree. Still,
Yeah.
I'm not saying Højbjerg is quality, but progressive passing in terms of passing it through the lines and moving it forward, Højbjerg is
The
miles
only thing
better.
Højbjerg is
do you know
better at is the
Gallagher's got the
long
best
diagonal
stats?
ball. That's it.
I-
Everything else, it's the short passes
just-
where
I don't
Højbjerg
think you should
loses
pay-
it.
I just
Yeah,
don't think you should pay
football
50 million
On the
50
ground,
million
Højbjerg
for a
can't pass.
headless chicken. For a head, like he just runs around and tackles stuff. You can find hundreds of players like that. He has
If
no
it was down to me, I'd sign that Mane Kone.
no.
Kone, sorry.
If I was you guys,
Nah, he's
I'm
fucking
putting
amazing.
He's amazing.
still. If you want to
He's
sign a
amazing,
DM,
man.
I'm putting all my money on the best DM outside of the top 6, João Paulinho. That's who I'm signing.
He's
That's
not bad.
what I'm going after.
He's not bad.
He's
not
good.
bad.
He's a
He's
good
not
player,
bad.
too.
He's
But
amazing.
he's not good on the ball as Kone.
Kone's a
Dribbler is
footballer.
But
Yeah,
João
exactly.
João Paulinho
He's
has
a
prem
baller.
experience. He's massive. He wins every
Stefan,
single
have you
duel.
seen Mane Kone?
Still, I've told you before, the Bundesliga for me is not.
But
Like-
Liverpool were in for him this summer.
I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad player.
We
just
signed
say
Van
that-
der Ven from the Bundesliga.
Okay, but I can name you much more players from the Bundesliga that have been
Son
complete
from the
flops.
Manu Kone for his position is freaking immense.
Which
And he's
team
got
does
the
he play
physique.
for? Was it
Mönchengladbach.
Mönchengladbach?
Yeah.
Mönchengladbach?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm sure he's good, but I'm telling you,
Stefan,
He's French. He's not
Stefan,
German. So
Stefan, go and
I'll
watch.
check him out.
And then have this chat.
But still, who are you paying?
You're not
50
going to talk like this.
No.
You won't talk like this.
Okay,
You're going to
but
want him
still,
at
who are you going to pay? Who's more guaranteed to be good? João Paulinho, who's had 2 years of Premier League experience,
Manu Kone as a footballer is exactly what we need. The way
we need a guy who can dribble, press
I'm telling you guys
break
this.
the lines.
I'm telling you guys this.
You haven't seen Manu Kone. That's why you're saying this.
No, I'm telling you guys this. I'm really worried.
He's brilliant.
Okay, maybe I completely believe you. But if I'm really worried, the next year, if Liverpool signs João Paulinho because they need a DM and he's perfect for their system, Liverpool are going to win the league.
So in the Liverpool system, Paulinho is probably a better fit. But in like Paulinho for me was maybe even a little bit closer to Bentancur, like that style of player. We need
more silky. Bentancur is more silky though. Will he's more of a you can play on the ball. Paulinho is a pure old school DM. He destroys.
We don't need another Højbjerg.
Dude, go watch Manu Kone. You will not have
this
this
doesn't
debate.
work.
You won't have this debate.
Okay, man.
Højbjerg doesn't work in this system because he's an old school CDM. Right?
Germany. Wait. Stay humble, bro. Germany are a powerhouse for a reason. Stay humble. Have you been watching the German national team for the last 2 fucking years?
So that wouldn't matter because he's not German. He's playing in Germany. He's French and he's playing in Germany. But
no, because he's saying Germany are a powerhouse.
So imagine Basuma dribbling, and then that's Kone. Like literally, there's no difference.
Is not very good. I've always told you guys this. He's not.
Except when you wanted him in Arsenal 2 years ago.
No, we didn't.
No, you did. You lot were in the business.
Every Arsenal fan did.
Do you really think Basuma? Do you really think Basuma, a big time?
It's true that
guys, let's not like we were linked with him. There's a difference between being linked and putting in a bid for him. We'd never put in a bid for him.
More than being
we
linked,
never tried
Your
to
whole
sign
fan
him.
base
Your
was
fans were
jizzing
singing
all
songs
over
about
Basuma's pictures.
I don't care. I don't care what
my
I don't care what my fan base did. We never put in a bid for Basuma. We never tried to sign him. We might have been linked with. We've been linked to fucking Benzema for 10 years. Well, that doesn't mean
you've been
linked
with Vlahovic every window since.
I think Arsenal can get Benzema this window. By the way, I think there's a way that can happen.
Are you nuts, Stel? We're gonna pay him 45 million for 6 months? No fucking chance.
No. You will strike a deal where you pay like a percentage of the salary because it'll be a loan deal.
I don't think his club is gonna agree, Stel. I don't think Al Ittihad are gonna agree.
I would say
agree.
This kid right here, Nusa,
you're not signing him.
Is talented, but here's the problem once again. Right?
What do you mean almost done to Spurs? Who's told you that?
That's not true. I didn't read that anywhere.
Well, it's on all over X and Twitter right now.
Oh God, who does he play for, Mari?
He plays for Bruges. I think he plays for Bruges, right?
What position?
Winger. He's a winger.
He's
talented. Now we need wingers, man.
Yeah, but
is he another potential bullshit, man?
He's highly talented, but it's potential. It's like we need proven.
That's what I mean, man. We need
proven. You know why they're writing this? Because Fabrizio Romano said that Spurs are monitoring Antonio Nusa. Jesus Christ, man! Like, fucking Arsenal are monitoring Mbappe. That doesn't mean we're gonna sign him. Like, what the fuck? What it monitor?
You know Fabrizio Romano, he's such a fraud. Yeah, I'll never forget this. When Mourinho came to Spurs, back to and we signed Gareth Bale. I never forget this. A week before we signed Bale, he did this interview on a Spurs channel, and they said, "Is Gareth Bale going to come to Spurs?" He goes, "No, highly unlikely. Too complicated to make the deal happen." A week later, he signs for Spurs. They also said to him, "How many players do you think Spurs will sign?" From my understanding, and I've spoken to the clubs, it'll be 2 or 3. We signed 7. This guy talks so much shit that, do you know what? If you talk shit about everything, you've covered every topic. So if one thing does happen, I told you, but you told me so much, bro. Like, you told me.
Maybe he said that on purpose to generate more leverage in the Real Madrid negotiations, because maybe He said that on purpose. So
Dude,
Real
he
Madrid
did it to grow his YouTube channel, his Twitter page, his Facebook page, his TikTok. He's a
No, he doesn't. No, the thing with me is the thing with Fabrizio is that when you work that job, a lot of people sometimes have to read a little bit between the lines. Like certain players, for example, you know that his agents are leaking it on purpose. Like when he does an exclusive and stuff like this team wants this player, you know the agent is leaking. Like for example, the Onana links with Arsenal. Love him as a player, but he's not the right profile. It's not happening.
I don't think Onana's a good signing for Arsenal.
No, it's not happening. He's not. I think he's an awesome. I think he's like a young.
You need more. You need more of an NDD.
No, he needs. He's not. He's not good enough on the ball. He's not technical enough.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Yeah. So, but that is obviously leaked by his agent because
who's the other midfielder for Everton? Who's the other midfielder they've got there?
They have Garner and they have what's his name? The guy who played for PSG and for Villa.
There's another player.
Was it Gian? No. What was his name, man? He played for PSG. I forgot his name.
There's another midfielder Everton have got. You should sign.
No, man. It's only him that's good. No, the other midfielders are Doucouré, Onana, Jimmy Garner, who came from Man United.
Is Doucouré centre mid?
I would say for Everton, he plays as like a second striker almost. He's very attacking, Doucouré. Guy, yeah, Guy, yeah. Michael said it.
Got to end the stream, or I got to leave. You guys just
okay, guys. I gotta go too. I've got work tomorrow, and it's fucking 3 a.m.
End it already. End the stream, Dave.
We are out. Come on, you Spurs, and enjoy the games.
And we'll see you in the Europa League next year, Stefan.